From beautiful, historic Peoria Stadium, Clutch Sports Media is here for a Class 2A sectional semifinal. It's a Mid-Illini battle as well as the Washington Panthers and the Dunlap Eagles. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jonathan Michael here alongside Rodrigo Hot Rod Perez in the booth. Rodrigo, it's going to be a fun afternoon of action. We got two games on tap. The first one, Dunlap, Washington, PND, Ottawa after this. But this game should be very close. Two bitter Mid-Illini rivals. Only one of them can move on to the sectional title game.
Yeah, John, it's two teams who know each other very, very well. Two teams who have played each other in the regular season, now meeting each other in the playoff season. You know, this game is going to be one of the best games that we might see in the Mid-Illini soccer as we kick off here.
And we're already getting started. Kick off a couple minutes early. Dunlap comes into this contest. They were the Mid-Illini champions at 15-4-3. Washington is 17-5-3. Both of those overall records, including their playoff marks so far. Here comes Washington right away. They'll have the first chance, but batted away by Dunlap's back line. Now here come the Eagles the other way. Act like that may have been Nick Lansford, and it was. Rodrigo, we're going to be saying Nick Lansford's name a lot. The senior forward's been getting it done all season.
Yeah, he's got that killer instinct. He's a forward. He knows when to shoot. He knows where those spaces are. He just takes advantage of that. And right there, he got a shot early on, testing the waters a little bit. We're definitely going to see and hear from him a bit more as we head into the later stages of this game.
We certainly will. That one goes out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Washington. Players to watch on their side, Rodrigo. There's a couple of them. We'll say probably the number one is probably Bernie Winnie, their junior forward and midfielder. Also keep an eye out for Elliot Wetstein and Isaac Reitz as well. A junior and a sophomore. Both teams have pretty good youth. A couple seniors on both squads, but a lot of key sophomores and juniors. They'll set up both these teams good for later on. Here's Kevin Corey, number 12 in maroon. Ball's taken away now. Here comes Washington the other way. This is Reitz with it now. He is battling with Dunlap's Michael Gong, taken away. And now here comes Dunlap. And it'll be a throw in on the 37-yard line. This is the first time, Rodrigo, we've been here for a soccer game. We're here usually for football, but this brand new turf at Peoria Stadium as Dunlap brings it into the zone. Oh, and a chance for the Eagles. They still have the ball. Almost the Eagles capitalized.
A lot of empty space right there, John, in the center of the goalkeeper's box. You don't want that early on, and that could have easily been Dunlap's first goal right there.
Neither team with a shot yet, but that was the best scoring chance of the day so far. Back to what we were saying earlier, though, Rodrigo. Yeah. We're usually here for football, but this new turf renovation looks beautiful. Lots of other renovations, including the track. The track also looks great. It's the first time that really Peoria State has really been able to host something like this in quite some time.
Yeah, it's my first time out here, and it's honestly a very nice field, very nice stadium as well. I was here a couple of times last year doing some football, and you know what? This looks way better. I'm so glad that Peoria was able to invest some money into their home ground.
Certainly is. You know, lots of different schools will be able to use this facility. You know, you may see, you know, the logo in the middle is PPS. That's Peoria Public Schools. So Peoria High, Richwoods, Manual, all tenants of the stadium. This is the Richwoods sectional. They're decided to host it here, and why not? It's a beautiful day for soccer. Temps have been in the mid-70s all day long as Dunlap controls it now. Here is Drew Chauvinek, a key sophomore midfielder. Now Lansford screams up the middle, but that one is going to be kicked away by the Panthers keeper Devin Miller, who's a sophomore and also the kicker on Washington's football team.
Yeah, Devin Miller's he's a man of many trades. Let's just say that.
He really is, and his Washington Panthers will be playing their first football playoff game of the 2023 season. They take on Danville on Friday night at Babcock Field.
we'll surely see Devin Miller there as well. So once this wraps up, he'll start preparing with the football team.
Probably, but also get ready if Washington were to advance. I'll have to double check and see, but there's a chance that both I believe the sectional title game is on Saturday afternoon, so they would be able to still play in the football game on Friday night and then come back and play in the game on Saturday afternoon. But Washington does have to win this game first. They fell to Dunlap 2-1 not too long ago in a game that was rescheduled from earlier in the year. It ended up being pretty much the Mid-Illini, not exactly, but almost the Mid-Illini Conference title game. Dunlap won that won 2-1 again at home, and their goalkeeper Joe Heyer had some incredible saves in that contest. I happened to be there for that one and pushed away a shot from Eric Nolte with under a minute left, went absolutely flying in the air, and that save arguably gave the Eagles the Mid-Illini Conference title. Washington out for revenge here today. That one goes out. And it'll be a throw-in for McLaren Asherle, their senior defenseman.
Yeah, both these teams have really good defenders. So, honestly, if we head into the half 0-0, scoreless, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I certainly wouldn't either. Again, both of these teams got some experience on their back line as Heyer extinguishes the scoring chance there, tells his team to back up as he prepares for this goal kick. And travels across midfield, headed out there by a Washington player, but a couple of seniors on the back line for both of these teams. Dunlap has McLaren Asherle and Colton Rekas. Washington, they have both their captains on the back line, and Aiden Renshaw and Rob Gorman. All those players are seniors.
Yeah, like you had mentioned, John, this team has a couple of younger players, so it's great to see some of them out on the field right now to just continue that tradition as the older players move on to the later stages of the game.
And you know, Rodrigo, as Washington tries to get it in the zone there, he's trying to find Isaac Reitz, who's been busy up in the attacking front for Washington. But, you know, this will be the final high school soccer game for some of these players today, whether either the seniors for Dunlap or the seniors for Washington. So
yeah,
that's just the brutal reality of high school sports. Maybe the last time that these players put on a competitive soccer uniform. Obviously you can play in maybe some adult rec leagues or whatever. Maybe some of these players also go on to play in college as well.
Yeah, for Washington, we've definitely seen one of those players, Mitch Coughlin, come to the Bradley Braves side just last season, and he's been adapting well to the college game.
That's right, he has. A couple local products for Bradley soccer. Jim DeRose always does a nice job of trying to poach some of the best talent around the area. Now here's Washington. Here's Bernie Winnie, the junior who's also plays basketball for head coach Eric Schermerhorn and the Panthers. Panthers still control of it. Here's Hudson Scrivener now looking to find Eric Nolte, and the two go tic-tac. Taken away, and now here comes Dunlap the other way. Now Lansford over to Jackson Orris, a key freshman for Dunlap. Got to keep an eye on him.
This game so far, John, has just been locked in the midfield. We haven't seen much shots. I think maybe only one from Dunlap. But that's kind of what we were expecting heading into this match. It's two teams, high-powered teams, who are just going at it again, in this time, in the playoff setting.
Only one of these Mid-Illini teams can advance, and these are the only two Mid-Illini teams still alive. Here comes Washington. They have a chance now, one-on-one. Heyer dives away, and now he loses it. He's gone to the net now. This could be a score for Washington. What a stop at the goal. That was Anaz Ramoon. And another defenseman, I couldn't really see who it was. Or rather, that wasn't Ramoon. That was back on the defense for Dunlap. That was, I believe, Corey and Hunt back there. My apologies. But Heyer was caught way out of the net, lost control of the ball. Washington was so close to making him pay.
That's what you risk when you're a goalkeeper and you go a little past your line. You try to meet the ball. If you don't meet it and take it out, you run that risk right there. The defenders were lucky to have Hires back on that goal, because that also could have been Washington's first real chance.
Whitney was trying to get something going for Washington, but now Dunlap takes it away. Here's Lansford, now taken away again by Scrivener. 50-50 ball, and now taken back away. Washington put together a nice couple opportunities here. Physical play, as that'll be foul, and now Dunlap will take it the other way. So Hire and the Eagles can breathe a sigh of relief. That was the best scoring chance of the afternoon so far. We're still tied up here at 0-0 through 10 minutes.
Big props to the Eagles back line on that one. I gotta say, that's a really tough situation to be in. So early in the match, where a goal early on can change your outlook heading into the later stages of the match.
Certainly is going to be a close one just about all afternoon long, if you had to expect. And both of these teams, along with Morton, were near the top of the Mid-Illini standings just about all season long.
Yeah, Washington, Morton, and Dunlap are the big three of the Mid-Illini. Those teams are always battling it out season after season, and it's always just great fun to see those guys go at it every season.
And we got the best of the Mid-Illini in this game. Then we have the best of the Big 12 in the next game. The Peoria Notre Dame Irish look to continue their postseason quest against Ottawa. We'll have that one for you here on ClutchSportsIL.com. And the winners from both matches today is Washington has a chance here. There was in the box was Elliott Wetstein. That one lofted over the net. Dunlap dodges another bullet.
Yeah, it seemed there was an offside on that play. As we see now, two subs come in. Number 8 for Dunlap, Shane.
Yeah, that's Tyler Shane was one of them. I didn't see exactly what the other number was. As you get a look at Joe Hire on your screen there, he was voted as the Clutch Sports Media Boys Athlete of the Week a couple weeks ago after his efforts in that game against Washington, where he made just some spectacular saves.
Yeah, like I said a while back, both of these teams just have great goalkeepers. We're definitely going to see some important saves in this one.
Brought back near midfield. Washington will set things up. That was Aiden Renshaw, number 11 in white. I was headed off a couple players, and Dunlap will try and set something up, but Scrivener has other ideas. Winnie tried to get it on the slide, wasn't able to complete it. Now he takes it away. You go back and forth and send it in there. That's number 12 for Washington. I don't have a number 12 on the roster that was given to us, so we'll try and figure out who number 12 in white is for Washington. At least we believe that's number 12 from our vantage point. 12 minutes, actually closer to 13 now, have gone by in the first half. Still no goals yet, but a scoring chance each on both sides. Now for Dunlap, here comes Sam Ott. Now here's Theo Belia, the junior midfielder. That one is out, and it should be a throw-in for Dunlap. So opportunity here for the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw, John. There was a bit of a push between two men in white right there. I'm not really sure if there was probably some miscommunication right there in the passing lanes. That's definitely going to be something to take note of as the defenses and midfield try to communicate. It's now Washington with a good chance here.
So 1-on-4, that one is going out, and it'll be back to Dunlap. Dunlap won, obviously, the conference meeting. You only play once against each opponent in the Mid-Illini Conference. They beat them 2-1 back on October 7th. That game we've already referenced multiple times, but last year Washington won this one back on September 27th, 3-0. And Rodrigo, depending if Dunlap and PND are able to win, would be a rematch of a playoff game from last year where Dunlap fell in the regional title game, so they've already made it a step further this year. Trying to win sectionals. This will be a throw-in here for Dunlap. Here's Michael Gong. Now Panthers advance. A nice pass through the legs up to Reeds. He's got a shot. And that one is batted away. Washington will keep it, though.
So far in this match, John, Washington has been pushing their back line farther than Dunlap, which I think has contributed to why Dunlap's had so much success so far this season in the back line. They're very defensive right now. They really have no one in the other portion of the field.
Even Nick Lansford, their score-happy forward, is playing pretty far back on defense, and you'll see him here. He's trying to defend the pass from Renshaw, and now here's Scrivener taken away by Orris. And avoiding the tackle there was Balea. It's like refs are going to get Washington for something, and Dunlap will keep it. Washington, last postseason meeting between these teams came in 2021. Washington won that one 2-1 in the regional title game. So a win for Dunlap that they had in the regional title game this past weekend was able to shake off some previous season woes and get 2 sectionals. Now it's a matter of how far can they get from here. Chance now for the Eagles. Here's Chovanik. Tries to put together a nice pass. Dunlap still has a chance, and off the chest of Miller. I believe that was Balea that had the shot.
Good chance right there from this angle. I'm not sure how much of an angle he had to actually take a shot. It seems like he went for more accuracy than intensity in that shot. As Washington looked to play a little upfield. That's a good shot right there. Not a bad shot right there, John.
No, it's not, as we attempt to get our scoreboard cam back up and running. It is a little windy here today, and windy enough to where the power cord of our scoreboard camera came out as Naz Ramoon checks into the game now for the Eagles.
Yeah, got a bit of a limited crew for this one. John's kind of taking a lot of different tasks right now, but we're glad to be here. It's a great day for some soccer, and we got a great matchup right here.
We do. We don't really not really able to get out too many soccer games during the year, but
it's one of those things that we say every season heading into like football. Like, we got to do more volleyball, we got to do more soccer, and then just glad we're able to finally get to one this time.
Indeed we are, and yeah, we've still been covering soccer all season long on Clutch Sports Media Overtime as part of our nightly roundups, where have scores every night from around the area. Here comes Washington now, chance for Whitty, and it went just wide. The ball never left the ground, but it was on a nice line. And Washington with some chances after Dunlap just got a good one on the other end.
Yeah, that was a great little sequence right there. A couple little passes in the right flank of the field. Washington with a good chance. Shot just goes wide. Keep developing play like that, and you'll definitely get a goal.
Both offenses have had some pretty good chances here today, but still nothing yet. As Dunlap advances, 21 minutes left to go here in the first half. Yeah, we'll try and get our scoreboard camera back up and working again. Here's the Eagles advancing it. Balea tries to find Orris up the field. Here comes the chance now. Can the Eagles get at least a corner out of it? Orris looked like he wasn't quite able to get down off of a Panthers defender. It'll be a goal kick for Miller.
Yeah, put a little bit too much sauce on that last touch right there. Just went a little wide, ran out of space to run. Was able to beat his man though, which is important as a attacker. You gotta learn how to play directly, learn how to build, and in that direct play right there, he did a good job. That'll be called a foul. Had a couple players run into each other.
And Washington will get a free kick here, able to set something up. Again, still the first half. Halfway through it now, officially at the 20-minute mark in the Class 2A sectional semifinal.
We've had good chances, John, for both teams. It's kind of what we expected. Two teams that know each other very well and that kind of know what each other's going to be doing. So not too many surprises as Dunlap starts developing a counterattack right here.
Yep, and moving up the field now is Kevin Corey, number 12, their senior midfielder. Nothing able to do with it, and Panthers will get it back.
Bit of miscommunication right there, I think.
And you know, we've seen the first 20 minutes so far. And obviously, just kind of get acclimated to what we're going to see here today. What do you think is maybe this game is going to come down to? Maybe maybe something you're impressed with for either one or both teams?
Yeah, I think starting off straight from the gun, Dunlap did a good job in just getting those first few attacks going. We haven't seen them generate too much in the past 10, 20 minutes. We've seen a lot more Washington Panther action as they've gone up the field and had some couple good shots, but it's been pretty even so far for both of these teams, and I think that's what we're going to see the rest of the half. And then heading into the second half, we're going to see a lot more attacking, a lot more risks being taken because you are in playoffs. If you don't win this one, you're not going to get another chance to make it just a bit farther in the playoff round.
That is certainly true, and it all comes down to this one. As here comes a chance for Washington. Bernie Winnie advancing at the field. He's got 3 Eagles on him. He's getting some help now. Here comes Reitz. He's been busy today. Big chance that one is blocked away by Dunlap's Colton Enriquez. Still on the Washington half, and trying to get that one looks like that was Daniel Buck possibly. I call that the half bicycle. Just kicked it back over his head, but didn't get up in the air and just goes out of bounds.
Yeah, a bit of an overhead kick, something like that. You never really know what to call those, even when they're goals. You always hear people call them bicycle, overhead, even sometimes if they're a little lower to the ground, a little scissor kick. But yeah, Eagles back line keeping it together right there. One thing we haven't talked too much about this, John, is just Washington's path to get here. Just they got Morton in the last round, tied him 2-2 in the regular season, tied him again in the playoffs for the regional championship, and then it was all decided in the penalty spot.
Yeah, it was, and this game could possibly come down to penalty kicks as well. For me, that's certainly my favorite part about soccer, just one-on-one. I don't know, some people I feel like are big fans of it, but maybe some people who are maybe more hardcore soccer enthusiasts may just want to play and say, hey, win the game the natural way. Is Washington has a chance here. And the Dunlap backline has been dense.
A little bit of chaos in the box right there. Washington not really sure of if they should shoot, if they should pass. A little hesitation from their forward line, I think doomed them in that play right there, which again could have been a good one. But yeah, going back to you, John, talking about penalty kicks. Washington beat Morden in the penalty kicks last time out, and that gives you a lot of confidence. So if this game were to head in that direction, Washington would have a bit of a mental advantage, if you may.
Yeah, certainly, it does help us being there in the past, and both these goalkeepers are also just so good as well. As we draw closer to 15 minutes left in the half, and there's our scorebug, or I should say our scoreboard cam back again. So and in case you're just tuning in, both these teams have had some chances, but nothing in the back of the net yet. That one will go out and will be a goal kick now for Washington.
Yeah, 15 minutes to go. Both teams have been a little more conservative with their attacks, not going up the field as much. I feel like Washington's done a little more of that so far in this game. Dunlap definitely being a lot more conservative in their attacking, which is fair. It's first half. You don't need to go all the way up to the field. There's still lots of time to get something going. We'll just have to see what each coach does heading into the second half and heading into the final stretch of this half.
Here's Isaac Reitz again for Washington, taken away by Gong. Tried to send that one down the field, was blocked away. Now Reitz over to, that's Nolte. He advances and taken away by the Dunlap defense and Kevin Corey. Corey still moving up the field. Here's a 3-on-2 now for the Eagles. He's got Ramoon and Oris with him. And the Panthers able to send that one back out, and they win the header. Now Washington on the counterattack. A player falls for Dunlap. That could be advantageous for Washington.
Just missed the final pass in that final third right there, John. And now he's a good chance for Dunlap.
Here we go, down the field. That's Adikari, and he punches it out of bounds. That'll be a goal kick now for the Panthers, but boy, yeah, Dunlap have a chance, and then Washington looked like they're going to have a breakaway, and it looks like that may have been one of their defenders. I couldn't quite get a look at who it was, but one of them fell down and led to a 3-on-2 for Washington. Then Dunlap comes back the other way with Yoshan Adikari, senior for the Eagles.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a boxing match. Both teams just feeling the game, getting some punches in early on, receiving punches, putting punches back on the other team. And yeah, that's kind of what we've been seeing in this first half.
Just over 12 minutes to go. Wind certainly picking up here at Peoria Stadium. The temperature, I will say, very nice, but as typical Midwesterners say, it's not the temperature that gets you, it's the wind. And Trenton Novi, the substitution for Washington, comes on. He is a junior forward for them.
Yeah, not sure how much wind our mics are picking up, but yeah, it's very windy where we're at, and I'm sure you can see on the screen as well with the players' shirts how much they're moving.
Makes it a little bit harder to control the ball when you're shooting or passing. Now here's Oris on the near side. He's been busy today. And Washington able to just barely keep it in bounds. They'll try and advance it, and it's pushed out there by Gog.
Great slide tackle right there. Confident, assured in what he's doing. That's what you want to see in a game like this, a playoff game like this.
And both these teams, no stranger to success, but Dunlap obviously, this is their first time getting out of regionals in a little while. Washington's also had some success too under head coach Chad Clift. Last year, the Panthers, they had a pretty good season. They lost, though, to Morton in their regional final. So this is their first trip back to sectionals in a bit. They also beat Morton, though, this past Friday to win the Morton Regional. So that was a big one for the Panthers in rival territory. By comparison, the Panthers last year were 18-7 and then 17-5-2 in 2021, nearly identical to their current record right now. 2 years ago, they also lost to Morton, so that was in the sectional title game. So here's now Orris for Dunlap. Can't quite catch up to it. It'll be out of bounds, but nice little pass ahead of the freshman forward. Not far off.
Yeah, that was a good pass. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. Just trying to get those passes behind the back line, try to surprise them a little bit, and that's kind of been the game plan for Dunlap as we had seen them do that a couple of times now in the first half.
Theo Balea, Sam Ott, and Nick Lansford all back in the game for Dunlap. All of those players are definitely threats to score, so maybe head coach Alan Hansen and the Eagles maybe trying to get something in the last 9 minutes and 20 seconds before the half.
He's definitely noticed how high that Washington back line has been riding this whole game, and we've seen that, trying to take advantage of that. And I think with those players, he might be able to take a little bit more advantage with their speed, with their size.
Size always good on that back line. Dunlap has some of it, and we're going to see a really big back line. Again, the game coming up after this, Peoria Notre Dame, they have a wall of defensemen. Also, on the offensive side, you're not going to want to miss to watch Caden Hudson, one of the most electrifying players in the area. I think you ask many coaches around here, they'd probably say he is probably the best player in the area. He's a corner now for Washington, as they'll send about 8 players up for it. And that went right into the midst of Hire, and he throws it away. You'll see what Dunlap can do with it now. Here comes Ott, just checked in, some fresh legs, and taken away. Nice job by Nolte.
Yeah, going back to that PND game we got coming up, it's going to be a great game. If you've never seen PND play, they're a completely different monster of a team, just in every aspect of the field. They just dominate.
And, you know, Rodrigo, we were both talking with PND a couple weeks ago for a feature story that we did on Clutch Sports Media Overtime. That was ended up being a great story by you. So, you know, if you're at home, go ahead and check it out. ClutchSportsIL.com/overtime as Al Reed storms up the field. He's got it with 4 Eagles around him, but PND was saying he hopes not just to become a state power, but you know, a regional power just in the Midwest, and also maybe even a nationally recognized team as well. And obviously they're the defending state champions in Class 2A. Trying to make it 2 in a row. And now here's a big chance for the Panthers. Here's Hudson Scrivener. And his pass, he was looking, it looked like, not quite sure, he was maybe looking for Winnie, but it wasn't quite there. He actually was looking for Daniel Buck, rather.
Yeah, he didn't have too much support right there. There was not many people he could have passed to. It was a difficult shot. So the pass was really the only thing he could have really done with that play.
So I have a quick stoppage. I want to thank our sponsor tonight that makes this evening of soccer possible, Jake Weston State Farm. For all of your insurance needs, whether that's auto, home, or life, you name it, give Jake from State Farm a call at 309-444-4441. His office is located right there on the main drag, just past Washington High School. And speaking of the Panthers, there's another chance for them. This one blown dead. Rodrigo, not sure you saw. Maybe was that an offsides there or a foul on the Panthers? Or you're not quite sure? Because I didn't quite see it.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a difficult situation just because you have everyone huddled up in that area. It's really hard with all the limbs and everything to kind of see what the officials were talking about. Yeah, my guess is it was probably a foul, since it was a free kick. You can't really be offsides in that situation.
Yeah, I know some rules of soccer, but there's still certainly some that I don't know. I will freely admit, not my primary sport, but I've obviously called a little bit of it. I watched I'm one of the soccer viewers that'll watch the World Cup every couple years.
There you go. Yeah.
And everything. Although Rodrigo, he's our soccer expert at Clutch Sports Media, and we're glad to be back out here for this 2A sectional semifinal. Dunlap moving it up the field now. That one blown dead. Rohan Isaac moving it up the field. And now Dunlap, though, will get a free kick. It will be now Isaac to take it. Keep an eye on Lansford, number 9 in maroon. They go close to him. Actually, was looking possibly for Oris, but and a big takeaway there for the Panthers. And now here comes Reitz, again outnumbered again, but hasn't really mattered to him on too many occasions today. This one passed up to Sam Ott, the junior, and taken away by the Washington back line. Under 4 minutes left to go here at the first half at Peoria Stadium, and if you're looking at the score cam up on the top of your screen, I think maybe clock operators maybe still getting used to timing soccer. Zeros show up every once in a while, but then the right time comes back on, so here's Washington. Reitz, again, it was battling with Colton Rikus there, and that one just kicked out onto the steps in front of the over 100-year-old grandstand at Peoria Stadium. Certainly one of the most unique features about this field, Rodrigo. You don't see covered grandstands too often. It really came in handy. I know you weren't with us, but 2 weeks ago we were here at Normal West and Peoria High, their football game, and it was pouring buckets. We were happy to be underneath the grandstand, and I'm sure the Peoria High fans over on that side were as well.
Yeah, I took a look at the broadcast. You guys definitely got some good angles on that grandstand. And just going back to that grandstand, it's a great feature of this stadium. And honestly, it almost reminds me a little bit of like classic London stadiums, soccer stadiums from Premier League, and even smaller clubs who have that sort of style of grandstand.
Indeed as well, yeah. As we're under 3 minutes to play, Panthers have a throw-in. But yeah, you mentioned it, Rodrigo. I back in my days, when I'd play a little FIFA, whatever. I'd play with some schools over in England, get to see what their stadiums look like, and especially you mentioned those smaller clubs that don't have those big, maybe more professional-looking stadiums. They're kind of more almost like neighborhood stadiums, sort of similar to these. It does kind of remind you of it, honestly, and the grandstand here at Peoria Stadium, it was originally constructed because this venue was originally a horse track and also an auto racing venue back in the day. Corner kick for the Panthers. That one headed away by the Dunlap line. Keeping it in is the Panthers. That one just over Heyer's head, and it bounced. I don't know if it bounced off of the football goalpost crossbar, the actual net crossbar.
I think it touched a bit of both, honestly.
What a chance for Washington. They've had multiple here today. And maybe the shots on goal number isn't super high, but they've had more chances than it has appeared. Maybe they can get one more here with under a minute and a half to go.
Yeah, like I mentioned, both teams are attacking this first half. They've been very conservative with the amount of attacking players they brought up the field. And as the time winds down here, less than a minute left. Well, a little bit more than a minute left.
Not much more. By the time you end the sentence, there's about a minute left. There we go.
There you go.
Dunlap may have one of the last chances to score. Here's Ott. Dunlap trying to set something up. And cross looking for Oris, flew high. As Devin Miller, the Washington keeper, calls for the ball and will send it down. Miller's got a heck of a leg. I see him kick his extra points for the Panthers football team. They clear the crossbar by quite a bit, and I think that could really come in handy for Washington, especially as they play some games that will probably be pretty close coming down the stretch of the playoffs, but they'll be the number 2 seed in Class 6A. Dunlap is number 5 seed in that same bracket as well. Nice takeaway there from Gong. And the final seconds should tick away. Oris sends it down. Lansford trying to chase it, and boy, he may have had a chance to put one on net there, but time expires. No extra time in high school soccer, and that's where we end the first half. Rodrigo, 0-0.
Yeah, it's kind of what we expected. Two teams who know each other very well, meeting again in the playoffs, and we haven't had that many shots because both teams have just been playing a lot more conservative. It's the first half. You don't have to go all in. Save that for the second half, where you're going to really need to score and really start trying to do something different, start taking some risks to find that goal that could potentially get you the regional.
Yeah, it's all on the line here in the 2A Richwoods sectional semifinal here at Peoria Stadium between Dunlap and Washington. Again, we'll have PND and Ottawa coming up right after this, so don't go anywhere. This is going to be a great second half. Rodrigo, you mentioned it. Both teams are going to maybe play a little bit more aggressive, but the first half also offered a lot as well. Lots of chances on both sides, and really just a high-level match. It's been fun here on ClutchSportsIL.com. And real quick, we'll take a quick break here at the half, but I want to thank our great sponsor that helps makes this evening's broadcast possible, Jake Weston State Farm in Washington. For all of your insurance needs, give Jake a call at 309-444-4441 or visit him online at jakewestoninsurance.com. I want to thank Jake for his support of Washington and honestly all the high schools around here, athletics. So that's where we'll leave it here at the half. We'll take a quick break here on ClutchSportsIL.com. Maybe grab a quick snack, or maybe even cook up some dinner. Come back, pull up your phone, your tablet, maybe even your TV. Strap in for the second half here on ClutchSportsIL.com. I'm Jonathan Michael alongside Rodrigo Perez. We'll be back in about 5 minutes or so. And welcome back to Peoria Stadium. Under a minute left here at halftime. Dunlap and Washington, the Class 2A sectional semifinal, all still tied at 0-0. Neither goalkeeper has allowed one pass. A credit to Joe Heyer from Dunlap and Devin Miller from Washington. These teams obviously will switch sides in the second half. So Dunlap will be going into the wind now. The wind is coming off of the left side of your screen. It's blowing from, if you pull out your compass, it'd be blowing from south to north. So now Washington will have the wind behind them. Dunlap will be going into it here in the second half as we're ready to get things underway. And Rodrigo, you mentioned both these teams probably trying to, amp up the aggressiveness in the second half. We may see the back lines inch up a little bit more, but overall, what are you looking to see in half number 2?
Yeah, I like the intensity that Dunlap brought early on in the first half. I want to see more of that from them, but Washington have just been building up play a lot better. We've been seeing a lot more attack from them as the game went on. But honestly, score is still tied. Second half, it's a completely different game now.
It really is. 40 minutes left, and then I have to have some extra soccer to decide a winner here. Again, the winner of this one will face PND in Ottawa. Rodrigo, I know about you, and again, not just saying this because we're based in Peoria, but I think PND is probably the heavy favorite in that game, although Ottawa was able to win their respective regional as Dunlap controls the ball here. As now here is Adikari, and now it's pushed back by the Panthers.
I'd say so, John, as well. PND's just a completely different team, dynamic. Just the quality on the field, on the sideline is just next level. Like you mentioned, we did a feature story on PND soccer, and they have almost this college-level approach to the way they train and to the way that they hold their players and their coaching staff to that. So if you want to read up on that, I think it's a great read. Not just because I wrote it.
It is. I can vouch. I can be the third party. That was a great story from Rodrigo Perez on Clutch Sports Media Overtime. Again, we got plenty more content on CSM Overtime. I had a piece about small school football earlier in the day about why local teams in the playoffs, they could win or lose their first round playoff games. Also, we'll have that for the large schools, including both Dunlap and Washington as well, both teams that are still alive in football and honestly just having great seasons overall in just about every sport. Washington and Dunlap, both their volleyball teams are kind of near the middle of the pack in the Mid-Illini, and actually will be, if I'm not mistaken, will be playing each other.
Wow.
I think that game may actually be tonight over in the East Peoria Regional. Again, I have to double check and just going off of memory at the moment. That one would be really close. Dunlap finished 4th in the conference. Washington finished 5th, but caught fire late. Again, football, both these teams have been really good. Cross-country postseason has rolled around, and both Washington and Dunlap are looking really good, especially on the girls' side.
Yeah, it's a good time it's a good time of the season. You got soccer playoffs, you got football playoffs barely starting off, you got some volleyball, cross-country, you got a little bit of everything. So it's a great time for guys like us.
And certainly, behind the scenes at Clutch, it feels more. It feels a little bit less busy, a little bit, because obviously more teams are getting eliminated, and more teams are seeing their seasons come to an end. But also at the same time, it also feels like it's even busier because there's so many great playoff games that we'll want to get out to. And again, we'll have our schedule announcements for our football plans this weekend coming out very shortly on our social media channels. As Oris now advancing up the field for Dunlap. He is looking for Ott. One-on-one. It goes past Miller, and Sam Ott has scored for Dunlap. The Eagles draw first blood, and the junior is a hero for now for the Eagles.
Exactly what we saw in that first half. Dunlap trying to take advantage of that Washington high line and go for the ball between the high line, trying to beat those defenders in that counterattack. A beautiful long ball and a great finish that was just placed perfectly. You couldn't have done that any better, John.
Jackson Orris is going to get the assist, I believe, for that one. Sam Ott, the one to finish it off for Dunlap. And now that puts all the pressure on the Panthers, who need a response here in the next 36 minutes and change. That was a beautiful goal, you said, Rodrigo. It looked like he just kind of caught Miller in a little, halfway. Miller looked like he was going to charge the ball and try and grab it, but Ott's speed was able to get up closer to the ball than Miller. Kind of thought in his head, well, oh crap, I better, try to get back in the net, but he was too far out to make a play on it, and it was one-on-one, so not able just to lift it over his head and give us the first goal of the game here early in the half number 2.
Yeah, that's not an easy situation for any goalkeeper. That position that ball was placed in was literally inch perfect. You couldn't have placed that any better, just because you have the goalkeeper coming off his line.
Free kick for Washington here. They had a chance, and now it bounces into the hands of Hire.
Now that Dunlap has scored, these next couple of minutes are going to be very important for Washington, just because this is the time. This is almost like a cold shower. This is the wake-up call. This is the wake-up call. You got to start doing something. You got to start actually trying to go at the goal. And because, like we said, this might be the last time that some of these seniors play.
Exactly. This is their careers, at least at high school, on the line right now for Washington. Trying to get Dunlap back after the Eagles beat them 2-1. That's about 2.5 weeks prior. Dunlap with it again. Here's Corey. Up to Ott. And for Washington, Rodrigo, I think obviously anybody can set things up, but right now, obviously, I think the man you got to look for is certainly Isaac Reitz, number 22 in white. He's been busy today and has been involved in a lot of Washington chances. Also, you always have to keep an eye, though, on players like Bernie Winnie, Eric Nolte, and Scrivener. Another chance here for the Eagles, and thankfully for them, Renshaw able to just push that one away. It looked like that may have been Nick Lansford challenging for Dunlap.
Yeah, Renshaw did a good job right there. Just waiting a little longer, and that could have been another problem for your side.
Here's Lansford trying to set things up, and a header attempt by Orris just flew a bit wide. That would have made it 2-0 in the span of just under 3 minutes.
Dunlap managing the game well. They're still insistent. They're still persistent. They're still trying to attack the Washington defense now that they've been knocked down a little bit. They certainly haven't been complacent in these last couple of plays.
No, they haven't, as Hire gets the goal kick. Or rather, Miller, excuse me. Now there's Hire on the other side in orange. Now it's Corey with it. He's been busy in the midfield for Dunlap today. And those seniors you mentioned for Washington, Rodrigo, look at their roster. Not a ton of them. They do have Aiden Renshaw, Rob Gorman, a couple of them. But, by and large, you got Winnie and Nolte are juniors. Scrivener and Reitz are sophomores. You got Elliot Wetstein, Trent Novi, and Jackson Lenover, all juniors.
Yeah, both teams have pretty young players. There's young players on both sides, which is just great for both sides because you don't have your main senior class leaving you next year and leaving you a little defenseless. You got players who are going to be able to step up next season.
Again, I think, if you want way too early predictions for the 2024 season in Mid-Atlantic Soccer, again, I got to think Dunlap Washington would be out there, as will Morton most likely. Potter's always put together a quality team. And you also, Limestone didn't have too bad of a season this year. They were kind of right in the thick of things and pulled off some decent wins. Metamora looked like they improved a bit this year. As here come the Eagles again. Nice footwork there, and now here's Orris. It's been dangerous on that flank. He tries to cross it in, and it looked like Miller got a knee or shin on that one. They push away the chance.
Really tight right there, not much space. But they made something out of it, and that's the important part, finishing those chances, just trying things.
And falling down briefly was Adikari for Dunlap, and that temporarily gave Washington a chance. They still have the ball now in their half, and they will get a throw in here. And now just here's Reitz, 50-50, and Heyer dives in. Physical play there. Great sportsmanship from Heyer, making sure Reitz is all right.
Reitz did a great job right there. He held the ball for as long as he could. Tried to get a little bit of a shot in. Couldn't really get one as we have a player down for the Eagles.
And didn't see who that was. Hope he's all right. But yeah, physical play there in the box. There was Reitz and Heyer, but also there was another Eagle that got in there as well.
Looks like they're doing the pretty basic and usual cramp exercise there. Might be just a cramp, but we'll see. They're checking him out right now.
Clock stopped at 31:16 to go here in the second half. In case you're just tuning in, it's been a great afternoon of soccer as the injured party for Dunlap. That's number 14, Michael Gong, the junior defenseman. He walked off the field on his own power, so good to see there. He's been an integral part of the Eagles' back line today, but Sam Ott has been the difference maker for Dunlap in this one, scoring the only goal just a couple of minutes ago. Now Washington has about half an hour to find an answer.
Half an hour, definitely plenty of time for the Panthers to get up the field a bit more, build up some play, look for that answer to the Dunlap puzzle that has been their defense so far in this game.
This game really similar. Again, don't want to talk about football too much. We want to give as much spotlight to soccer as possible, but really, both these teams matched up in football a couple weeks ago. Again, Washington won that game 28-7. I talked to some Dunlap players. I talked to Kevin Corey, Nick Lansford, and Joe Heyer after that game where they beat Washington, and I said, this feel a little bit better that considering you lost to Washington in football last night, and they said, 100%. But both these teams in football very strong on defense, but Dunlap's defense has been just a bit better so far. Panthers will have a chance now.
We definitely see a lot of that rivalry between schools here in the Mid-Illini, and it's great to see that it transcends football and basketball and leaks into soccer, baseball, softball, those other sports.
Definitely, I think everybody in Washington will tell you that their biggest rival is Metamora. For Dunlap, they're a bit more isolated in terms of geography. It's not like they have anybody just from right down the road. Could maybe argue Limestone, but I think Dunlap would say their biggest rival is probably Washington in most sports as well. Free kick here, bounces away. Whitty has a chance in the box and is pushed away. Here comes another kick there from the back line. I believe that was Nolte. That one goes out of bounds. And again, Dunlap really just packed it in on the back. Whitty had a pretty good look, though, able to get a clean foot on it near the goal.
Yeah, that free kick just went through everybody. There's a little bit of chaos right there, and not exactly sure who got the last touch on that ball, but nevertheless, a good chance for Washington and start to generate some positive play.
Again, no official stats in front of us, but I believe Heyer maybe got a piece of that one, so we'll credit Washington with a shot on goal there. Both teams unofficially at 3 apiece, but a couple other good chances. Could be one here for Washington. Nolte battling Here's Reitz now trying to push it ahead. He was looking again for 6 in white. That's Buck. Again, he was listed as a defenseman, but I think he plays a little bit more forward or midfielder, just looking at where he's been on the field most points today.
Yeah, you definitely see players sometimes move a little higher up the field. As long as you got one of those midfielders or forwards to cover you, you're all good.
And Anaz Ramoun will check back into the game for the Eagles. He is usually one of their first players off the bench.
Definitely got his praise right there, as we heard some claps from the fan section that came out to watch this great contest.
All the fans over on the other side, we pretty much have visitor side to ourselves here at Peoria Stadium as Washington sends it back down the field. Enriquez gets a foot on it, but it's taken away by Scrivener. Now up to Reitz. Trying to set something up. Nice little pass up to Nolte before it's taken away. I believe that may have been Balea for Dunlap on the getting it back to the Eagles. Now there's Ott. Now over to Drew Chauvinek, whose name we haven't called a lot, but he's been a big player for them. Here's Ramoun off the keeper and is tapped in for a goal. Yoshat Adikari. 2 now for the Eagles in the second half, and they have really put the pressure now on the Panthers.
Washington backline not doing themselves any favors there, keeping just a couple of Eagles completely in with open space, and you saw it right there.
The initial chance, I believe, may have came off the foot of Ramoun, but it bounced off of Miller Adikari right there. The senior for Dunlap puts it in, and they now have a much bigger cushion. At least it appears that way, and will feel that way for them with just over 27 minutes, now under 27 minutes left to play in the two-way sectional semifinal.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of more of a cushion now. You have 2 goals, up by 2 goals. As things will start probably slowing down a bit more for Dunlap as they look to keep this score, then try to look for the third. But honestly, I wouldn't blame them if they try to still go for that third goal, because as much goals as you want in this one, it's playoffs, and soccer just lends itself to surprises.
They certainly do, although the pressure for Dunlap is certainly lessened now. Free kick for Washington. Let's see what they can do here. Here's Buck, who lifts one near the net, and Heyer gets his mitts on it again. Another good chance for the Panthers, but Heyer's been there just about every time. I should say he has been there every time today. He hasn't allowed a goal yet, and he's just a sophomore for the Eagles.
It's not over for the Panthers. It's definitely not over. There's still 25 minutes left in this half, and you still have a lot of good chances, a lot of good players who are able to go up the field. And honestly, just getting 1 goal back gives you so much confidence, especially in the playoffs.
Certainly, and I mean, soccer is a game, obviously, most just general sports fans, counting myself, obviously, so if you're old, there's not much scoring or whatever, but, especially in the later stages of the game when the pressure is really on, it is more possible than you think to, get 2 goals quickly in succession, or, get, one quick and then one after another. All you need is, a couple of good passes and the ball on the foot of the right person. Here's Dunlap threatening again. Chauvinek with 2 defenders on him. Orris is right there. Here comes another chance for the Eagles, but he gets tripped up. All is battled for, and Washington comes away with it. That could have been really dangerous, as Orris had it temporarily on the far touchline, but... And now here come the Panthers. Here's Winnie. And it's sent back by McLaren Asherle. Gotta say, Asherle's the only person that I've ever heard about whose first name is McLaren.
Definitely one of the more unique ones.
I'm sure they maybe named him after the British sports car that is McLaren. So maybe his parents, like, you know, maybe his mom or dad, maybe both of them happen to really like McLaren's. But Washington really would have liked a goal there and almost got one again. It looked like that may have been Buck that got in close. Rather, that was Winnie. Had a chance for a header, but just not quite. That's been the story for Washington so far. They've had chances, just haven't been able to get the cleats and touches on them.
A couple of half chances, but right in that set piece, you got players who are able to head the ball. You got players with the height to do that. And Washington just hasn't been able to take advantage of that.
Here's Dunlap advancing it again. And it looks like that was Isaac looking, I believe, for Chauvinik before he got tripped up. So Sam Ott and Yoshant Adhikari. I hope I'm saying Adhikari's name right. If his name is pronounced like Yoshant, I apologize. Doing the best we can, but nevertheless, both those players have been the difference makers for Dunlap so far, as has Joe Heyer in net.
Yeah, that second Dunlap goal was great just because of the intelligence to be in that position to take advantage of a loose ball like that. So good on the Eagles as they now sit with a 2-goal advantage to Washington. With 22 minutes left in this one.
Certainly, as 2 subs come on for Dunlap, Tyler Shane and Nick Lansford both come on. And it looks like both goal scorers, Adhikari and Ott, check out. Now here comes Shane, straight off the bench with fresh legs, pushing up the field, looking for the cross to Lansford. Physical play there in the box. Dunlap still has control of it before it's taken away. I believe that may have been Gorman.
Yeah, that play very similar to how the second goal for Dunlap came. Again, the Washington Panthers back line has been caught off guard a couple of times now, and that's been hurting them this whole second half.
Here's Ramoud with it, trying to battle past some Panthers that eventually kicked out. Dunlap thought it was going to be a throw for them, and initially I thought it was, at least appeared to me like Washington kicked it out, but Eagles get it back for the moment. Corey trying to push that one up forward before whistle is blown dead. Both Peoria, Notre Dame, and Ottawa in the building. I shouldn't say in the building. There's just no roof over here. Now at the historic Peoria Stadium, getting ready for the second semifinal. Again, we'll have that one here for you on ClubSportsIL.com and our YouTube channel on the same stream. So no need to go anywhere. We'll take a quick break. Obviously, we'll reset and everything for, I don't know, 15 to 20, 30 minutes, however long it takes until a little bit before the half. And Gavin Russell will join me in the booth for that one. Again, don't have to go anywhere. Just keep it right here, and you can watch the Irish and the Pirates duke it out.
Yeah, that should be a good one, even though we did say that PND has a certain level in the Central Illinois that makes them just stand above so many teams. Soccer lends itself to surprises. Ottawa's not out. They got to this point somehow.
They did.
They definitely have a chance in this one.
So look at my notes here. I know I believe Ottawa was either a 3 or a 4 seed in their regional. They took down a Galesburg, who was, I believe, the 2 seed, if I'm not mistaken. And then Ottawa was the 3 seed. They beat the Silver Streaks 3-2 on Saturday. Their playoff journey started with a 1-0 win over Geneseo back on Wednesday. Washington now the chance. Whitty couldn't get it off the ground. Right to a kneeling Joe Heyer. right there in the right spot at the right time, and another chance going by for Washington.
That was a very similar shot to one we saw in the first half where the Washington Panthers had it in that final third. A shot was made, but just more accuracy was preferred than power on that one.
Here's Ramoon with it. Now, that was Shane putting some pressure on. Again, I want to thank a great sponsor that helps make tonight's broadcast possible, as Washington almost made a goal possible. That was Buck, who put it just a bit too high over the crossbar. Jake Weston State Farm in Washington. For all of your insurance needs, give Jake from State Farm a call at 309-444-4441 or visit him online at jakewestoninsurance.com. It's crunch time now for Washington, Rodrigo. Less than 20 minutes left to go. I know maybe desperation is the word, but you really got to put the pedal all the way down to the metal as that chance from Nolte sails wide.
Yeah, what I've been seeing from Washington in these last couple of minutes has just been a bit of desperation, just playing a little bit too fast, not waiting, not being patient for a good shot to develop. Like in that last play right there, you were pretty far away, so why not take it a little closer? Why not pass it to someone who maybe had a better position? And I think that's what both coaches are going to try to say, is just have patience in this, as in the closing stages of the game.
Another chance that was blocked away there. It looks like by possibly Corey. Now Dunlap on the counterattack. Overall, it's been a pretty clean game to this point. No bookings of any sort. Maybe just a handful of fouls, but overall pretty, I give credit to both these teams that even though it's a rivalry, nothing's getting dirty so far as Reitz tries to cross it in, and Heyer will chase it down. Not able to get it before. Looks like there should be a corner coming up for Washington.
Yeah, we've definitely seen two very respectful sides. Two sides that obviously have played each other before. And, yeah, when you get some of these games between high schools, some of these players might have played each other or even been teammates back in club soccer.
This is a big chance here now for the Panthers. Corner kick comes in. And is headed in for a goal. Washington has found one. Bernie Whitty, I believe it was. It was a massive white shirts near the goal, but I believe that was the header from Whitty that pushed it in, and it's 2-1. The lead's been cut in half.
And just like that, John, the Panthers have a chance. That's what you want, just a chance. Get a goal and just get yourself back in the game. That's a huge confidence booster for the Panthers as they look to equalize now with 15 minutes to go.
16:48 left on the clock. Certainly plenty of time for Washington. This one just got a lot more interesting.
And this is how the regular season matchup between both of these teams ended, 2-1. So
exactly, and it was back in that game. Nick Lansford got the scoring started almost right away. Is now already in deep in Panther territory. Here's Lansford again, but Miller right there. That one would have been lethal if Washington would have given that one up. But Miller right there. But Lansford got things started for Dunlap, and then right away the Panthers got a goal to make it 1-1. And then Kevin Corey on a penalty kick for Dunlap. There was a handball in the box, put it in the back of the net. That ended up being the difference maker again. And then Joe Heyer made some great saves down the stretch. And Washington in that game, they really did put the pressure on Dunlap in the final couple minutes. We can expect that again. Another chance. And that one, oh my. Just in that small gap between the football crossbar and the top bar of the net. And it looked like from our angle it may have gone in, but it sailed just high. Panthers almost equalized it with just over 15 to play.
If that one would have gone in, John, would have been a screamer because he hit that perfectly. Right side of the foot, hit cleanly just sailed a little high.
And higher, and the Eagles have got to be careful. They've seen something like this again, and last time Higher's heroics were able to push Dunlap to victory. Can they count on them and Dunlap's, again, their back line to preserve it here today? Header there is fought for, and then Shane pushes it out. But Rodrigo, Dunlap's back line in the first half, was really stout. Maybe that was also a byproduct of Washington maybe not being as aggressive on offense, but it looks like the Panthers are starting to figure out an answer a little bit.
Yeah, they definitely let the Panthers play a little more in that first half. And that, to the credit to the Dunlap back line, was rock solid.
Here's Winnie now with it, approaching midfield, up to Reitz. Up on the side now, he's got Nolte on the far flank. He's got Buck trailing with him. Now Reitz back to Nolte, and this one is going to be pushed away by the Eagles. Higher was charging up on it. I have to wonder if maybe the Eagles would have rather, or if Higher would have rather just taken that one into his arms and set it down for a goal kick. This will be a throw-in for the Panthers now, under 14 minutes to play. Between these two Mid-Illini rivals, only one of them will advance to the sectional title game, where they will face either the PND Irish or the Ottawa Pirates. Substitution briefly for Dunlap. This is Michael Gong, who came out after a brief injury, coming back in, and McLaren Asherle checks out for the Eagles.
Yeah, great to see Gong back in the field now. Definitely one of Dunlap's most important pieces. So it's really good to see him back.
Thrown in there by Dunlap, and I believe that was Lansford that sent it back to Washington side. They'll recover and reset. And for Dunlap here, I think right now, just maybe, if I'm not mistaken, Rodrigo, if you do things any differently, maybe just play some keep away. But no, they're going to try and get things going here. Here's Ott with it. Tries to cross it in, and it looks like that may have been out of bounds.
Yeah, that sounds...
Or possibly maybe an offside.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable to just try to hold the ball a little bit more, drain a couple seconds. But Dunlap Eagles, persistent as ever, still trying to look for that extra goal.
And as much as you like to just maybe just sit on this lead, you also maybe figure that at this point of the game, maybe your best defense against Washington to win this one is score another goal, because 2 goals in 12 minutes is certainly a tall task, not impossible. Miller sends it down for the Panthers, and now Reitz with it. A 3-on-5 at the moment. And this one will roll out, and it'll be a goal kick for Higher.
What Washington are going to be looking for more is just more corners, more set pieces, because that's how their first goal came. So they definitely know what to do in those situations.
And again, that goal for Washington, again, unofficially scored by Bernie Winnie. That's who it appeared to be. Didn't have an official announcement on the PA system, and there was a lot of white jerseys near the box, but it looked like it was a header from the junior who's been so good for Washington this year, over a dozen goals. Yeah. So now under 12 minutes to play. If get your friends, your family, any Washington Dunlap faithful, tell them to tune in for these last couple of minutes. This one is going to provide a great ending, or so it appears, especially if Washington can put the pressure on. Or can Dunlap hold on? Reitz finds Buck. Now back up to Nolte. Nice passing here from the Panthers. What can they do with it? And they're going to call a foul on Washington, it appears.
Even without the foul, there was no support for the Panthers offense. Really no one he could have passed to. He might have been able to get a bit of an angle to shoot a shot, but honestly, the foul isn't the biggest concern right now for the Panthers.
Here's Shane with it on the near side, pushing it up, and now he's got Ott. Now over to Would have been over to Isaac, but Washington took it away briefly. Nice ball control from Shane.
Ball control has been great for both sides. They have a lot of really technical players that like to play with the ball.
Now here's Buck up to Reitz. Those two have been busy. Now here's Winnie. And defending is Kevin Corey for Dunlap, and this will be kicked out, so Dunlap survives another Washington chance as we go under 10 minutes to play.
Washington are insisting. They're trying things out there. Not much has really been able to, as that one kind of slips past.
Now a near disaster for the for the Eagles, as Reitz got a foot on it, sent it back to higher.
Yeah, you don't want to concede like that, John.
No, especially in this such a crucial game. Eagles have to be as safe as possible. Lansford battling with it on the far side. And they try to reset. Dangerous ball. Reitz fell down, and boy, if he would have stayed up, that would have been a golden opportunity for the Panthers. We'll see what the Panthers can do now as we go under 9 minutes to play now. Buck up to Reitz, but then kicked away. Nice foot there from Colt Enriquez on Dunlap's back line. Now here's Balea, the midfielder. Orris streaking up the field. Boy, he is not hard to miss. Jackson Orris, number 23 in maroon. A, because he's so fast, and B, that long, curly, blonde hair that he sports.
Yeah, one of the more recognizable players on the pitch.
He certainly is. This one throw will go right back out of bounds. It'll stay Dunlap ball. And no extra time in high school soccer, as out with it now. He's already scored once. A shot there is deflected away. He's still with it. Washington's defense has to lock in here and set it back down the field. They will gain control of it as now Nolte pushes it up and out of bounds.
We keep mentioning it. Dunlap keeps insisting, keeps looking for that third goal.
I think a third goal at this point would all but seal this one, but again, Washington at the same tone, they can also score one as well and make this a brand new ball game. Nice pass up to Tyler Shane. Trying to find a lane to get it past Miller. What a save with his legs. Not an easy play there for Devin Miller. Looks like Shea was trying to cross it in or maybe potentially score.
He was looking to kill this one off, John. And props to Miller. That was a really hard save. He's a very confident guy, though, and he can make those saves in his sleep.
Set piece for Dunlap, corner, and goes away. That was Shane taking the corner for the Eagles. If you're Dunlap here, obviously, Rodrigo, with no stoppage time in high school soccer, at this point, you just maybe just, if you have the ball near the side, maybe just try and just kick it out or something. Oh, here comes a chance for the Panthers. Now up to Whitty, who's going to win it, 50-50 ball. And it looks like it may be a foul call. We'll see what the outcome of this here is, Rodrigo. I don't know, what did you see?
I saw a collision. That's what I saw. And by the reaction,
maybe this could be a penalty for Washington.
It definitely is, John.
Oh my. 6:28 to go, and a foul in the box by Dunlap will give Isaac Reitz of Washington the chance to tie it up.
This might be one of his most important plays all season, John. It's going to come down to this one.
Mano y mano. Reitz on higher. Can Washington knot it up at 2 and potentially send this one to extra soccer? Or will Higher potentially make the biggest save of his life after he had done so when these two teams met just a few weeks earlier? Strap in. Here's Reitz. Goes right, makes it! Isaac Reitz ties it up on the PK! We have a brand new ball game in Peoria. Unbelievable. The Panthers have tied it up in the last 20 minutes.
Never say die, John. Never say die. The Panthers, we thought, were out of this one mentally and physically. But now, tie game, 6 minutes and a bit more to go. This is now the most important time for both of these teams.
And now Dunlap, they're on their heels. They have to regroup now after giving away 2 goals. Obviously a message with your emotions a little bit. They were not maybe too happy about that call there in the box, but again, physical play, at least from here, looks like the referees had a reason to blow the whistle.
The reason was definitely there. I think it was a very confident call by the officials there.
And the Washington contingent at Peoria Stadium is loud, and they're starting to get really loud.
They woke up. They definitely showed up to this game.
They still has to have the Dunlap fans. They're a bit more quiet now. 6:20 to go. Now the Eagles have to try and find an answer, or at the very least just keep Washington away from winning this in regulation.
This is, I think, exactly the game we were looking for, John. It's been tight on both sides. Game tied all back up.
Now here's Shane for Dunlap, but it's taken away by the Washington back line.
Yeah, just when Dunlap was starting to get a little confident, a little starting to rest a little bit.
And a save for higher. A chance there by the Panthers. Boy, that would have caused this place to absolutely burn down.
Definitely would have done something, John.
A chance now for the Eagles, and Nick Lansford has scored! Dunlap finds the response, and the Eagles may be just fine after all. Nick Lansford, the senior forward who's been so good this season, may have just sent Dunlap to the sectional title game. Unbelievable.
Well, there's the answer to the question, did that affect Dunlap mentally? No, they didn't. They scored another one, making it 3-2, 5 minutes left. Will we get a couple more twists and turns to the story, John?
Who knows what the final score could be in this one. Nick Lansford in the right spot at the right time. In the blink of an eye, he was already down there and put it past Miller. That could be the difference maker. Now Washington, after having all the momentum, now they're back on their heels again. 5 minutes left to play. That save that Hire just made down there on the other hand, that's, again, was relatively easy, I think, by most goalkeeper standards. But
yeah, I'd say so.
But certainly big when you consider, and it eventually led to that goal from Nick Lansford.
Yeah,
he's also
started with him.
Go ahead.
Started with him, definitely. And now Washington is going to try to look for that other one, because both of Washington's goals have come from set pieces, while Dunlap's goals have all come from build-up play.
Yes, they have. As now under 5 minutes to go for the Panthers. Nolte had the ball with a decent shot at potentially scoring, but Dunlap turned it away. So, in case you're just tuning in, again, Sam Ott and Yoshat Adikari put Dunlap up 2-0. Again, this game was scoreless at halftime. All 5 goals have came in the first 35 minutes of the second half. Dunlap was looking for another one there with Lansford, but Washington takes it back away. And the Panthers got a goal, we believe, again from Bernie Winnie. Then that PK from Reitz on that foul in the box. But then Nick Lansford is 3 minutes and 37 seconds away from being the hero in this one. This has been one of the most unbelievable soccer games that I've seen with my own 2 eyes.
It's been a great game. Lots of goals. Game definitely opened up in the second half.
And Dunlap, they putting something together nice here. Here's Balea trying to lock this one up on the far flank and sends it back to Drew Chovanec.
Dunlap again. We've been seeing this the whole game. Keeps persisting, keeps going and attacking the Washington defense.
Now here's Orris. He's going to try and cross it in a little bit over the head of his teammate. That was Shane. Dunlap still controlling the ball. Washington has to get the ball back. Oh, my word. Almost to score another shot on goal. There's a Washington player down. They're going to blow the play dead. Looks like Miller just kind of let that first ball go. Like that was not going in, but it bounced off the bottom of the crossbar. Almost goal number 4 for the Eagles, as we'll get a stoppage here for a Washington injury.
That ball was a lot closer than Miller thought it was going to be. Luckily, it bounced off the post.
So, again, Panthers player down. Don't really quite see who that is at the moment, but they're going to look at Nick Lansford. Great shot there from Michael Savoy, our camera operator. He is the man of the match as it stands right now. He also won the Clutch Sports Media Boys Athlete of the Week a couple weeks ago, and he's had a lot of really big weeks for the Eagles so far. Again, leading them in goals scored this year. He's got 25 to his name covered into this one. Drew Chovanec, Braden Hunt, Jackson Norris all had 10 as well. But Adhikari scores his 4th goal of the season today, and Ott put in his 6th. As the Washington player coming off, again, can't really quite see who that is at the moment, but
I thought it was Reitz at first, but I'm not quite sure.
It's not Reitz. That is
24.
I don't have a 24 on the roster provided to us right now. I hope he's all right, but gave Washington and their head coach Janet Clift a chance possibly to maybe draw something up and maybe almost get sort of a timeout of sorts. Under 2.5 to play here at Peoria Stadium. Washington, after tying it at 2, now needs a last-minute goal to keep their season alive.
Washington did a good job coming back from those 2 goals, down by 2 goals. And I think it's very admirable from a squad like this. But Dunlap has just been playing on another level today.
Now here's Shane, a chance that is blocked away by Miller's leg.
Great positioning by Miller. He couldn't position himself any
now here's
better.
Chovanec put out some nifty moves in the box. Almost got it in. Washington has to get the ball on the other side of the field and quick. You'll take that probably if you're Dunlap. Just maybe buy some extra time. Again, no stoppage time. So once that clock hits 0, this one is over.
Dunlap, John, is playing like they're down by a goal. They just keep going at it.
Goal kick from Miller. Bounce off of Chovanec. Washington needs possession. Now here's Reitz. Under a minute to play now in Peoria. Maybe this is probably the last gasp for the Panthers.
It's now or never.
Will we see an unbelievable goal, or does Dunlap hang on? They're just going to do the soccer version of, you compare it to ice hockey, just icing the puck, or just clearing the ball down the field, keeping control of it, as this will now be a throw-in for the Eagles. Under 30 seconds left to play, Rodrigo. Time is really coming down now for the Panthers, and now Orris with the ball. Even just hanging on to it here is probably going to do it. Orris turns towards the Dunlap fans and claps. And the Eagles are going to hang on and win the Class 2A sectional semifinal against the Washington Panthers, 3-2. And here come the Eagles.
What a game, John. Washington down by 2 goals, able to equalize it via corner and a penalty. But Dunlap just playing at a whole nother level with their speed, with their counterattack efficiency. Those were the keys for Dunlap, and that's why they're in this position.
It's been a special season for the Dunlap Eagles. After a couple years of not being able to make it out of regionals, they'll play for a sectional title on Saturday with a 3-2 win over the Washington Panthers. And, boy, Rodrigo, that's got to feel great if you're a Dunlap. You beat Washington twice in 1 year. Both games really came down to the wire, really all you could ask for in both occasions. Washington, you really have to give them a lot of credit. A fantastic season for them. They came in at 17-5-3. Yeah, they were pretty dominant just about in every game this year in the Mid-Atlantic Conference, other than that loss to Dunlap. So, lots to look forward to for the Panthers, and really, I'm honestly very impressed with their resolve and fight that they showed tonight.
Yeah, both teams did a great job in not letting any of those goals affect them mentally. As we said, Washington down by 2 was able to bring this game back to life for them to the point where they actually had a chance to win it. But Dunlap just was too much for the Panthers tonight as they look to face the winner of Ottawa and PND.
And again, stay tuned. We'll have a live broadcast of Ottawa and PND coming right after this. We'll take a quick break here, but boy, Rodrigo, the story of the first half for Dunlap was their defensive line. I mean, they were just keeping, Washington at bay for most of that first half. Then they completely switched tones at the second half, and it seemed like they always had the ball on their side, or on the Washington side, I should say, of the field. Again, Sam Yashant Adhikari, but then Nick Lansford was the difference for Dunlap in this one. Bernie Winnie and Isaac Reitz scoring for Washington. What a game here. Yeah, that's just the first one. We'll have a second one coming up right after this. PND and Ottawa. I want to thank all of our great crew here at Clutch Sports Media, our camera operator Michael Savoy, and Gavin Russell is taking some pictures and stuff on the sidelines, providing social media updates, and also for our great agent that makes tonight's broadcast possible, from State Farm, Jake Weston in Washington. For all of your insurance needs, give Jake from State Farm a call at 309-444-4441 or online at jakewestoninsurance.com. For my broadcast partner, Rodrigo Perez, the hot rod himself, I'm Jonathan Michael saying so long, but only for a little bit from Peoria Stadium. Dunlap wins the first semifinal. Who will win the second? Stay tuned to find out right here on ClutchSportsIL.com. Welcome to Peoria Stadium here in the heart of Peoria, Illinois. Thanks for sticking with us here on ClutchSportsIL.com. Or maybe you're just now tuning in to see the second Class 2A sectional semifinal in boys soccer. It's the PND Irish against the visiting Ottawa Pirates. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jonathan Michael of Clutch Sports Media. Alongside me tonight, Gavin Russell. Gavin, we saw a thriller between Dunlap and Washington in the last game. Dunlap wins it 3-2. They'll be facing the winner of this game on Saturday for a sectional crown. PND, we'll start with them. They're obviously, everyone around here knows how good and what a tradition they've been in soccer. They have high expectations again this year.
Indeed, and kind of going back to that last game, it was electrifying, John. I got to spend it roaming the sidelines for that one, and there was action both ways. The first half got off to a bit of a slow start, but I think as these teams kind of warmed their legs up on a very warm evening for October, they'll certainly start to find some success. But, yeah, PND definitely one of the powerhouse programs in the area. When you think of Central Illinois soccer, PND is easily one of the first schools that come to mind. Looking to continue their run once again. They had a great run last season, so they'd love to continue things on and play Dunlap on Saturday. Ottawa like to play a little bit of spoiler coming down to the River City.
And it certainly would, and, Ottawa on the year, they come in at 13-9-2. I think most people would agree that they are the underdog in tonight's matchup, but, obviously that hasn't really stopped them so far this season. They've put together a nice campaign, and they took down Galesburg for their regional crown. And, Gavin, the Pirates, they're led by Jorge Lopez. He's their player to watch, number 7 for the Pirates. Let's get a look at his stats right here. He's got 20 goals, at least according to Max Preps. Again, unofficial. He may have more than that, but yeah, he's going to be a player to watch for Ottawa tonight.
Yeah, Jorge Lopez definitely is going to be a standout player and just a sophomore, John. So one thing I noticed right off the top with Ottawa is they have a lot of really young players, guys that will be back next season. They've already put together a winning season so far, so a lot of success coming for Ottawa. They like the way this program is heading in the right direction and playing on a big stage right here. This could be one of the biggest games they play all year, even if they move on against the mighty Notre Dame Irish. And what a game it would be if Ottawa could upset. But again, great team on the other side, Peoria Notre Dame, looking to continue an excellent run.
And we'll get in more into PND as the game goes on, but players to watch for them tonight is also number 7. So keep an eye on your number 7 site. It's Caden Hudson, the junior forward, probably one of the better players, if not the best player in the entire Central Illinois area. He has been electrifying to watch this year.
There's no other way to describe it, John. His 30-plus goals, 34 to be exact, have really paced PND as we get underway, but a lot of other players to watch. Thatcher Hogan, among others, some really great forwards, and just a complete Irish team. We're going to see an exciting match tonight.
We're underway here at historic Peoria Stadium. The PND Irish and the Ottawa Pirates playing for the right to play for a sectional crown. Sectional semifinal soccer here on ClutchSportsIL.com. Glad you're tuning in. Tell your friends, tell your family to tune in. Should be a good match here tonight. And again, Gavin, all we can really ask for is a game that would be as close as the last one between Dunlap and Washington. If you didn't catch that one, that game was tied at the half. Not really much offense in the first half. And then Dunlap jumped ahead 2-0 on goals from Sam Ott and Yoshan Adikari. And Washington stormed back as Pirates trying to get the ball out of PND scoring territory here, but the Panthers got goals from Bernie Winnie and a PK from Isaac Reitz and Nick Lansford 1 minute after Reitz's goal. That came with 6 minutes left in the game. With 5 minutes left, Nick Lansford, the hero for Dunlap, and that was the difference. And Dunlap is the final Mid-Illini team standing. PND is one of 2 teams left playing in the Big 12. The other one being Normal Community, who's also played tonight up in, I believe they're playing in East Moline, I want to say, but I believe they are playing Moline tonight. I believe that game is actually, I want to say, at Normal West. Had to do some double checking there, but Ironman in action in Class 3A. Here's the Irish. They throw in there Fabi Arellano, number 2 in Navy, senior defenseman for the Irish.
And John, you mentioned the Washington Dunlap game. Once again, got off to a slow start if you didn't get a chance to tune in.
Here's Hudson trying to get it out fast for PND, but a save made there by Brady Went in net for Ottawa. Early chance for the Irish.
And he cuts and got to my point right there. Despite a slow start for both teams, they got some shots on net. They got within the box. They put a little pressure on. Then the defenses and the goalie started to crack a little bit in the second half. We got those 5 second-half goals between both teams. So, again, expect something similar tonight. Both teams to kind of feel things out a little bit. Ottawa may play a little more conservative.
Chance here for the Irish. Dangerous for the Pirates. Their defenseman didn't catch who that was. He just kicks it out and says, let's catch our breaths and just give him a corner.
Yeah, and again, one of those things for Ottawa, they want to play a little conservative. They don't want to try to play too fast and get ran past. You're playing a mighty Notre Dame team, so just play on the defense a little bit. Take your opportunities when they come about. Don't try to force anything.
Irish offense has been busy early on. Here's a header that came off of the noggin of Teddy LaHood. That ball, we're not playing football, but if we were, that would have been 3 points for the Irish. That one goes through the goalpost. That should be a goal kick now, or a free kick now for the Pirates.
Some would say we're playing football, John.
So some would say, although, yeah, 2 born and raised Americans here in the booth. So this is soccer for us. Remember, we did win the Revolutionary War. We don't call it football, at least over here.
European football.
European football, yeah, we could call it that. PND getting set for a throw in here. A whistle blows. Like it may have a Pirate checking out. Looks like that's Evan Snook coming out and Jordan Arroyo coming in for Ottawa. Snook, a junior forward, and Arroyo, a fellow junior as well. So just like last game, lots of youth on both teams. You may think that PND, with being as good as they've been this year, again, just 1 loss. That came at a tournament down in St. Louis against Chaminade, one of the premier programs in the entire Midwestern region and arguably the country. Irish also have lots of sophomores and juniors as well. Here's Hudson, a junior himself. He'll send it back to Arellano. Now back over to Hudson. PND passing it well in their scoring half. Really winning the time of possession game so far.
I'd expect the ball.
Hudson tries to get it there. Almost a chance for the Irish. As another player coming in trying to get a foot on it, but Ottawa survives.
Yeah, I'd expect the ball to stay on the right side of the field a lot here in this first half. Again, Ottawa just playing on the defensive. They're doing a nice job. They haven't let any big seams come up yet, but again, got to play patiently, John. This is not a game where you need to try to take too many chances. It's a game where you just kind of let things develop.
Here's a big chance now for the Irish. Push it into the zone. We'll see what comes of this. It doesn't look like there's going to be any foul. A foul on Ottawa would have led to a penalty kick. It was in the box, but Pirates survived. Didn't quite see who that was for the Irish, but nevertheless a big scoring chance. Yeah, it looks like the Pirates, they had to do their goal kicks with one of their defensemen rather than their keeper.
Interesting development there, but, I noticed in the last game of this doubleheader, they allowed them to play pretty physical. We did get the 1 PK, but overall we saw bodies hitting each other. Nobody was going down. They wanted to stay up and keep fighting, through the whistle. I again, expecting a lot of the same tonight. As you get into the sectionals, you can't leave anything to chance. This isn't a time to be diving around on the field or trying to draw a cheap foul or, a yellow card somewhere here and there, but just got to keep playing physical, keep playing hard, and see what the refs will give you.
And goes out of bounds. Again, there weren't any bookings in the previous game. If you're new to soccer, it means you get either a yellow card or a red card. None of that in the previous game, and so far, none here, but a pretty clean contest. Ottawa, this could be their first chance. With the ball here is Lopez. Number 7 in white. PND trying to harass him, and eventually they get it taken away. Now here's a chance for Sebastian Salazar. It flies just right. Couldn't quite get the strike on it that he wanted to. Needed to be a bit more left, but again, another shot for PND. You figure something may give sooner or later.
You keep taking shots, keep getting chances. One of them's bound to go in at some point. It could take a whole half before it happens, but just wear them down, John. I think that's the mindset here for the Irish, and they're continuing to put the pace on as we'll get a stoppage and redo the throw-in.
Throwing from Ariano was blown dead. So it gets it into Thomas Graham, a senior on the PND back line. Pretty good group of defensemen for the Irish. Obviously, they have Ariano, who we've mentioned a couple times, Thomas Graham. Also got players like Declan Schuler, Nathan Oliver back there. That ball bounces off of the foot of the ref and blown dead. So this will be a free kick for PND at right around midfield.
Ottawa, again, playing very conservatively here early on. Again, not taking a lot of chances, but it's one of those things, if you can kind of catch PND napping, at some point the Pirates could find a hole, but so far it's been pressure from the Irish just nonstop.
Here's Hudson with it now, trying to find Salazar, and more pressure from Hudson. He is everywhere on the pitch. He's going to maybe try and cross this one in. Find Salazar briefly, but Ottawa able to clear it back out. Now back to Lopez. See if Ottawa can get a sustained possession over in the PND half of the field.
And a lot of white jerseys just continuing to play back a lot. I was talking with Rodrigo Perez before he had to head out, and he gave him a great comparison for Ottawa to the Morocco national team during the last World Cup. And he said some of these dark horse teams, such as Morocco, playing against powerhouses like Spain and Portugal, they have to do something a lot like this. Play back, play a little more conservatively, closer to their net in order to almost, be able to keep enough energy to come up with some things later on in the game. So kind of a good comparison right there is Ottawa, again, playing conservative early on.
They are. Their defense has given up some chances. That'll happen against PND, but has held strong so far. But Caden Hudson may have other ideas, and they crash it on him. And that will be a foul, so this is going to be a penalty kick for the Irish, and who else but Caden Hudson to take it. That foul in the box will give PND a golden opportunity here in just about 10 minutes through in this one. I tell you, that's not who you want to see on the other side of the ball if you're Ottawa. Hudson goes right, doesn't leave the ground, doesn't matter. Caden Hudson strikes first for the Irish. They lead 1-0.
It wasn't a goal in action, but hey, PKs count the same, John, and Caden Hudson had a pretty good chance to make that one. He probably would have had to miss it on his own merit to have that ball not go in the net. Not much the keeper can do. Again, that's a very tough position. I cannot imagine being in the goalie's position right there. You kind of just have to take a stab at it. Went to the ground, just went the wrong way, and PND strikes first.
And honestly, Gavin, PK is kind of an even playing field. If you're a keeper, if you dive one way, you can save it. Even if you're going up against, Leo Messi or whatever, there's really no telling on where they're going to go beforehand. It's not like hockey where you have like a lead up and you can maybe try and juke someone out on the way in. You just pretty much got to go right in. And unfortunately for Ottawa, went Joe left, Hudson went right. And the Irish have the early lead. Now officially under 10 minutes, or over 10 minutes have gone through in this one. case you're just tuning in, it's been PND ball for most of this one so far. Here's another chance for the Irish. It is off the fingertip of Went. Or rather off the crossbar. If it was off the fingertip, it would have been a corner for PND, but that's not the case.
And I really like the way that Notre Dame sets up each attack here on the right side of the field. Drew Chovanek kind of on the near side, just kind of lofting the ball in the middle. You know, you kind of talk about getting in that slot, be able to keep the ball towards the middle of the field, and gives yourself a great angle at the net, at the keeper. So again, great attack, great strategy so far. Is a big hit right there. It's definitely going to be a free kick coming up here for the Pirates.
And that push on Declan Schuler, sophomore for PND. So Ottawa can maybe send this one deep in Irish territory.
Notre Dame brought a big student section
kidding.
decked out in the neon tonight.
They are loud tonight. You'll see them. They're on the left side of the grandstand. Now here's a big chance for Salazar. Up on the near flank, tries to find Hudson. Lots of Irish bodies in the area. Now here's Thatcher Hogan with it. Back to Hudson and out of bounds.
John, what do you do? I believe that on Saturday, Notre Dame's football team will also be in a playoff matchup.
They're playing Kewanee.
If you're a student or if you're an Irish fan, what do you do if the Irish do get to the sectional?
Oh, and another chance there. Not to interrupt you, Gavin, but PND almost, again, depth perception. Can't really see exactly where that went, but it looked like that one was very close. But just not quite for the Irish. But back to your point, Gavin, yeah, double duty for the Irish. Obviously, none of these soccer players are going to be playing football or whatever, but if you're an Irish fan, you either got to go up to Kewanee for that big soccer or for a big football game, or if you do hang on and win here today, you got a sectional title game against Dunlap.
Indeed, it's kind of a tough decision to make and a good problem to have, I suppose, John, but big week for Irish athletics, and the Irish will kind of reset things here. Looks like they'll get themselves a free kick, and again, just continuing sustained pressure.
I know, as we'll get a free kick here, I believe from Hogan, if I'm not mistaken. You know, we talked about it in the previous game, Washington Dunlap, you know, not just being good in soccer, but being good in other different sports. PND has had a very good fall just as a school athletically. Overall, here's a strike from Hogan, and my word, I wonder if maybe Hogan should maybe take on Saturday and maybe go kick some field goals. That one was straight through the uprights and a rocket. Bit too high there, but the Irish, their girls golf team, as they continue to threaten here. Girls golf team made it to state, led by Ella Coulter. What a career that she had. We're going to get a foul here on the Irish. Looks like that was Teddy LaHood with the transgression there. But, you know, PND girls golf made it to state as a team. And their boys team and Ella's brother, Jack Coulter, made it to state alongside Charlie Joseph. Both those golfers made the cut. And PND, their girls team, finished third at the state final. So they're thriving on the links. Got some cross-country runners advancing. We're in postseason for that.
Having a successful fall are the Irish. And again, a very real shot for PND to, you know, possibly make it back to the state finals again, and they'd love to hoist the trophy. I believe, did they play those state final games as Irish come back in on the attack?
There's Salazar. He's been trying to get that cross in and find Hudson or people in the area of Hudson, and that's certainly the guy you want. Well, Gavin, to answer your question about state soccer, I believe they play around in suburban Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. It's been I want to say Naperville at North Central College. Here's Lopez with a burst of steam for Ottawa, trying to get some help, but Lopez may be a little bit more lonely in that portion of the field because Ottawa is probably sagging back a little bit on defense and trying to, not be too aggressive and really just shut down PD's offense as much as possible.
No, there's no question. They're playing back very much, and he's kind of a one-man show up there. It's, things are getting physical, but really just to avoid PND getting too many other good chances. Another shot right there. Nice save. Rebound
right
on it.
Caden Hudson. Who else for PND? He's already got a brace just over 15 minutes into this one. 2-0 Irish.
And, of course, every time I start talking, John, it seems like the Irish start making something happen. Not a bad thing if you're a PND fan, so maybe they want me to talk a little bit more. But it was really a nice initial save there by the keeper. Short range, got himself out in front, but nothing you can do. Rebounds are probably one of the worst things in the sport. When you got a rebound and a wide open net in front of you, not really much else you can do, and it's 2-0 Irish.
That's how Dunlap scored their game winner, Nick Lansford. But I also want to give a quick shout out to one of our viewers in the comments section. Mitch, he corrected me, said Notre Dame tied Chaminade, and then they lost to Christian Brothers. I knew they played two good schools down here in the St. Louis area. St. Louis, an area that really is emerging kind of as arguably almost the soccer capital of the United States, or at least the Midwest for sure. Some great programs down there. Lots of energy with the new MLS team that has performed extraordinarily well in their first season. Christian Brothers also, along with Chaminade, very strong program. And, Gavin, that's just, the schedule that, PND plays. Obviously, you play some schools right here. You play a Big 12 schedule. But aside from playing your Big 12 games, their head coach, Mike Bayer, he wants to schedule the best teams that he can find possible, the best teams around, because that is just going to makes this team better in the long run.
Yeah, soccer, especially here in the IHSA, is one of those sports that's a little hit and miss. Some years that we get really good crop of teams. So PND doesn't quite like the foul call right there, but, can be a little hit and miss. You got a few good teams in the areas. Other years it's a little more deep. But either way, Mike Baer knows, hey, we got to get outside of our own area. We got to see a variety of different teams that play a variety of different styles. They're playing teams that are similar to them, private schools, maybe a little smaller in enrollment, as well as playing schools that are bigger in nature, up towards the Chicago area, some of the bigger metro areas. So, indeed, a good scheduling tactic right there. Make sure the Irish are always battle-tested.
And certainly, Gavin, it kind of, maybe not quite crossing state lines as much as this team, but it's almost kind of like in football. How East St. Louis, almost a nationally recognizable team, they play their conference games, but when they're not doing their conference games, they're playing schools from different states because just the best competition they could find. A near chance from Hudson. He could have had a first half hat trick if that one was a couple more feet to the right. He has been so dangerous for PND tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hudson is looking to get the hats flying out there and would love to put another one on the board. Never have too many goals, John.
I do have a hat on currently, Gavin, so if that does happen, you may have to go without me for 10 seconds as I would have to run down the bleachers, and I think I would have to throw my hat on the see as far as I could get. I could maybe get on the track. I don't know if my hat's aerodynamic enough to reach the field.
You might be close to that sideline, but maybe that's more of a hockey thing, John.
I think it would be frowned upon. I don't see it too often in soccer.
Well, the way that, he puts up hat tricks and the amount of goals that he'll score on a game-to-game basis, that'd be a lot. A lot of people would be losing hats if that was a soccer thing.
New Era and 47, all those hat brand companies out there, they probably love Caden Hudson. Like, hey,
he should
think of people buying new hats every week at this point.
Assuming he goes on to play some college soccer, which I don't know how he couldn't at this pace, but might think about an NIL deal with a hat company or something. There's a world in front of him, and just outside of soccer too. But he's doing big things with the Irish right now.
Salazar up the near flank again. Him and Hogan playing a nice two-man game. He tries to find him again. Not quite. Ottawa, they're going to have to, try and find some way to, keep the ball out of, their own side. That's a big credit to the Irish passing real well. They're not, turning the ball over on many sloppy passes. They're being crisp on offense, and they're, taking away lots of balls on defense.
Indeed they are, and again, the last game we saw more play kind of in that neutral zone area, on the football field. If you're looking at the numbers, probably between both 30s, something where you're not really allowing, either team to get sustained chances. Well, this is complete opposite in this one. The Irish have that sustained attack, which again is just wearing down Ottawa. So if they want any shot at coming back or, finding the back of a net, they need to first just kind of get the ball back and forth in the neutral zone and then try to make a push.
I think so, as Irish will take a breath and get things set up with their back line, and now they'll send it in, looking for Hudson. Now over on the far side. Irish are looking. Here's Hudson. And it's taken away. Can Ottawa push it back up the field? Here come the Pirates. Again, every time that they've gotten near, again, looking at the football field, near the 40 or 50-yard line, it's been kind of like a 2-on-4 or 2-on-5 almost, as they're calling offsides against the Irish, I believe.
And it'd be maybe one of those things that now Ottawa down 2-0, you might have to change the game plan up and make those adjustments where you're playing a little less conservatively, lay a little more on the line, get some help up on that front line, and sacrifice a little bit on the back if you really want to try to put some offensive pressure on.
Salazar trying to find a lane, nothing doing there. Dangerous pass, and now Salazar finds Hudson, who could have had the hat trick, and is blocked away again. Two huge stops from the Pirates. I don't know how long they can sustain many more attacks, but those right there are exactly what you need.
Really is just something we've seen the entirety of this game. We're over halfway through this first half of play, and a couple of corner kicks already for PND. Here's yet another one.
Yeah, this will be Hudson to take it. That one flies in. It's a header from Hogan that nearly found the top left corner. Floated just a bit too much, and Ottawa was able to get ahead on it.
Really nice looking corner kick. Had some great curve to it, got in a great position, and just didn't really get the noggin quite on it enough to put it in that top left corner. And Ottawa defends once again. Got to give them a lot of credit for the amount of shots that have been taken, the amount of chances PND has had. They're actually holding quite close. PND is a team that can run the score up in a hurry, so holding steady here in this sectional semifinal.
Now they'll have a chance to maybe set something up here with the throw-in, as this is the deepest the Pirates have been able to advance it so far, but right away, PND just taking it away. And Lopez, the guy you got to watch out for on offense for Ottawa. He's got 20 goals this year. Again, unofficial numbers. Those come from Max Preps, and you never know it officially with Max Preps. Here's Hudson now on a breakaway, showing some speed, and he pushes it past Went. A first half hattie for Caden Hudson.
He entered the game with 34 goals, and we're not even done with his first half, and he's up to 37. What a goal right there, and just finding an opportunity. Ottawa trying to push a little more, can't, fault them for that. You got to start to put a little pressure of your own on, but finally the Irish just catch them napping a little bit, and not much the keeper can do in that situation again. The back line not doing him any favors this evening.
Yeah, a tough matchup. Second time that Wentz been one-on-one with Hudson, the first time being during that penalty kick, and Hudson didn't have to do much. He just kind of had to give it a little push with his right foot, and just found the back of the net, just past the reach of Went in net for Ottawa. So Pirates down big on the road. This isn't technically a home game for PND, but You still played in your own town, a short drive. You still got that game day routine, not any long bus trips. Ottawa, meanwhile, they had to come in, and here's another strike coming from closer to midfield. That was Hogan. He's had some good chances tonight, Gavin, and I feel like if someone besides Hudson would have to score a goal for PND, I feel like Thatcher Hogan's also a good possibility as well.
And it looks like the PND sideline was really trying to bargain for a corner kick that maybe a Ottawa player got a piece of that, or the keeper came out and got a hand on it, but overruled, and it'll be a free kick coming out of the crease for the Pirates.
PND wins the header. Now it's back up to Salazar. Here's Hogan, number 19. Now back to Hudson, back to Hogan, and Ottawa was able to get a foot on it. Now here's LaHood. Number 23, one of the first times we've called his name tonight. Salazar's got some space. What can he do with it? Likes to go up. Now here's Hudson. That ball deflected, and Went has hold of that one.
And if you're looking at the field, you're watching this game, maybe not quite see it there on your screen all the way, but every white jersey is within this PND zone, and there's still about 4 PND players playing back, so just got to give some credit to the serious skill it takes for PND to knife through. There's another chance and goes just wide, but got to give credit to some serious skill to be able to work around these Pirates defenders. Really fancy footwork and excellent passing as well. Otherwise, you don't come up with the amount of opportunities that they have.
I certainly don't, and there's a reason that PND's just been so good this year again. Just 1 loss and 3 draws on the year. One of those draws again came against Chaminade, very good school down in Missouri. Another draw came against Normal West early in the year. Here's another chance for PND. And that one go in. I believe it did. From our angle, couldn't quite see, but there's another one for the Irish. And that was Thatcher Hogan. It felt like he was going to break through for one at some point, and there he does. And Irish are starting to run away with this one late in the first half.
Yeah, I couldn't quite tell right at first, John. That angle was kind of tricky, and that's a very tough goal. If we had some cameras down there, you'd be able to see it a little bit better, but really a tough goal going to the far side on the left post, and just kind of finds it into the top corner a little bit.
So 3 for Hudson and 1 for Hogan. This Irish offensive attack has been relentless so far today, showing why they were the heavy favorites. Now they get another chance. Here's Hogan, another one for PND. Faster than you can blink. Thatcher Hogan has put up 2 for the Irish, and their lead extends to 5.
Dunlap, beware. Probably a few, few Eagles fans sticking around to watch this one, maybe some players, and they know they're, PND, assuming they continue to hold on here, Eagles are going to have a big test on their hands come Saturday.
5 goals in the first half. That's as many as both Dunlap and Washington had combined in the second half of last game.
And again, a really tough spot here for Ottawa. Not to mention PND's just as good as they are, but Ottawa's also very young. We mentioned some of their top players are not seniors, and they're going up against an elite team. They probably haven't been in a spot like this too many times, John. That's really any high school sport. The more experienced your team is, when the guys have been around the block, usually your team can fare a little better, and so far it's just been tough sledding, but I think undoubtedly going forward they're going to be better off for it, and if they're in a spot like this again in the future, I'd surely think the Pirates would have a better shot.
I certainly think so. And again, Pirates, not to take anything away from them. Haven't really talked about them much so far tonight. It's because PND's had the ball so much. They've been scoring so much. But, credit to them. They won their regional. They took down the number 2 seed Galesburg back last week.
Which I think in any sport, John, if you're winning a regional, and you get a regional plaque to show for it, I think that you can consider it a successful season, especially when you run into a buzzsaw of Peoria Notre Dame. I don't think you can hang your head too far. So, again, a lot of credit to the Pirates for, making it to this point in the playoffs and, extending their season a little bit. They go home with a plaque, and, this game's not over yet. We don't want to write anything off too soon, but Notre Dame has just looked like every bit of the team we expected them to be tonight.
They certainly have. And, again, the first time I saw PND this year, at least in action, Gavin, in person, was a couple weeks ago. I went to their game against Normal West, which at the time, that was Normal West. They were one of the teams that, could have given the Irish a run for their money, as that one kicked off and knocks the flag over in the near corner. It will be a goal kick for Theodore, or Teddy, as he sometimes goes by, Teddy Dimmler in net for the Irish. Maybe a familiar name for those of you that watch Irish basketball. He's on the team, as Caden Hudson also plays basketball for PND, as does Teddy LaHood. A couple others.
Going to get a corner kick right here, and I think a little miscommunication on that play, so sets up the Irish for yet another corner, and hasn't led to any direct scores so far, but yet another really close chance. And again, get a chance to kind of work at every facet of the game, try to work on every bit of that 8x24 net, trying to find some different success, because again, going forward, John, you're going to face some stiff competition throughout this IHSA postseason, and you certainly want to be ready in every facet, be able to have a full bag of tricks whenever you might be playing, one of the best teams in the state along the way. So Irish continuing to just kind of dominate in every facet, and you really get after it.
Here's Hudson with it now for the Irish as we approach 10 minutes left to play here in the first half. It's been all PND so far. 3 goals from Hudson, and then Thatcher Hogan, he's already got a brace with 2, and I'll go back and see exactly when he scored those goals, but it seemed like it was definitely less than a minute in between both of them.
Yeah, it didn't take a lot of time. I'd really like to get some official time on that, because
you can go back and rewind it, check it out.
Get the old replay system fired up. It was rather fast, though. About as fast, if not faster, than the last game, Dunlap answering to that game-tying Washington goal, which I thought happened rather quickly.
That was very quick.
It was just within a couple minutes, but Thatcher made it happen, and again, probably about a minute or less.
Irish Hudson up to Fabi Ariano. Hudson again, maybe is goal number 4 in store. We don't know. And Wet takes it in for Ottawa. And, Gavin, we were talking earlier about Caden Hudson and what the future holds for him. Again, just a junior. I'm sure his, recruiting and his college thoughts have, probably picked up a little bit. But he's getting some interest from schools in the Big Ten, the Big East, a couple other mid-major schools as well. But, at least at the college level, as that one is gone wide, another near chance for the Irish. But at the college level, there's, I'll double check. I don't even really think there's any schools in the SEC, for example, that play soccer. I believe soccer is a sponsored sport in the Pac-12.
What's left of the Pac-12.
Yeah, they're going to be the Pac-2 here pretty soon. But obviously, the Big Ten and the Big East, 2 very strong conferences, and college soccer, you'll find some of the best programs in there as well.
And, a little biased to me, and of course he's going to have some standout offers, as you mentioned, from those Power 5 conference schools, but I'd hope at least the hometown Braves would be taking a little bit of a look, or if nothing else, pitch him an offer just to, for the sake of it. You never know.
What a nice little kick behind the back there from Hudson, just as you mentioned him. But yeah, Gavin, that would certainly be good. And there's been a long line of PND soccer players. I can't name them all right now, but at least since I got to Bradley, which was back in the fall of 2019, graduated back in the spring. But I remember I came in and there was Lucas Fontana, a goalkeeper for PND that played for Bradley. A couple others as well. You had Miles Safanavong. He played down for SIUE, who's in Bradley's division in soccer. He played for Peoria City over the summer, the USL League 2 team. Here's a one-on-one chance for the Irish, and an easy goal for PND. That was Thatcher Hogan again. 2 hat tricks already for PND in the first half.
And we talked about earlier, good thing this isn't hockey, otherwise everybody would be losing their caps this evening. A pair of hat tricks, how often do you see that? When you have, we're always counting goals, right? So you got 1 goal, you got 2 goals. How big it is to have 3 goals? Now we're counting how many players have 3 goals. How bizarre is that, John?
We have a third person get 3 goals. Boy, I don't know.
It's a hat trick of a hat trick.
Yeah. That
hat trick square. No, not squared.
Yeah. Well, no, it'd be hat trick cubed.
Cubed.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of the shape.
We're not mathematicians. That's why we're calling sports in the booth. And
geometry is not my strong point.
It's not even geometry, Gavin. That's that's algebra, as our Owen Dimple, our camera operator, says. Owen knows a bit more about numbers than we do. I just look at stats and maybe do some Google Sheets, spreadsheets, and everything. I can do numbers when you bring in when I was in high school and everything. You brought in the numbers and everything, not the number. You bring in the letters. That's when stuff got tricky for me.
Yeah, that's not, again, exactly my strong point. I'm good at the math, simple addition, subtraction, maybe a little long division here and there. But all I know is 3 + 3 = 6, and that's where we stand right now.
And that'll be a foul against Caden Hudson, who wears number 7. He'll have a chance to put up number 7 on the scoreboard with a free kick here. Ottawa building the wall of 3 players. It looks like it will be Hudson to take it. Bounces off the wall. Nice job by Ottawa. And they will clear it. What a dominant showing from PND, Gavin. And, back to one of my earlier points, I saw PND in the game as Normal West. They drew that game 0-0, I believe. And, for them, obviously with the high standards they have, I could certainly tell after that game, it felt like a loss for them. They weren't satisfied with that draw. And, it was a bit of an off night for them. Every team does have those. But, this is PND soccer in one of its best forms, and they'll take advantage of another foul here, so they'll get a free kick. That one going on Alexander Hauk of the Pirates.
Yeah, again, getting a little bit physical here as we go along. Nothing too egregious, though. Got to give credit to Ottawa for continuing to play physically and, just going to play it out this evening. But you kind of mentioned that, sometimes those draws can be considered failures, and you don't want to look at it completely that way, but obviously you'd like to take those opportunities to get better, and it surely looks like the Irish have, as they were already good to start with. They've since improved as the season went along.
Another free kick coming here for the Irish. Under 5 minutes to go here in half number 1. Glad you're with us here on ClutchSportsIL.com. Free kick, and it just sails wide. That was a nice boot from Declan Schuler. He almost added his name to the list of goal scorers. And, Gavin, if this trend continues, the next goal scorer for PND, if the trend continues, he'd have a hat trick. It's been in order: Hudson, and Hogan.
Yeah, we'll see who the next guy that comes up with it. There's a lot of time left in this match.
Maybe Hudson or Hogan go again.
It's possible.
Here's the Pirates advancing it now. This number 18 for them. Brief glance at the roster. Didn't see an 18 at the one we had, but here's Salazar. And another physical play. PND is just getting demolished physically. It's taking some big hits, and they're going to... That was close. I don't know if that's going to be in the box or not. If it was, it'll be a PK coming up, I believe, for Salazar. But this one appears to be just outside by about 2 yards.
Looks like we saw our first card handed out. It's a bit of physical play, a little much there. Although when you got two guys running at full speed, both trying to fight for position with the ball, you know, things like that can't happen, but picks up a card nonetheless. And here's an opportunity once again for Hudson to, you know, maybe just continue to extend things out. And you mentioned get to number 7 for number 7.
Ref telling the Ottawa line to move back. They now move to the left, as does their goalkeeper. It'll be Hudson to take it. He'll just go with a nice little setup and a strong boot coming from Graham off the back line.
That was a great save there by the keeper, too. It was just a little floater in the air, kind of a no-man's land ball right at about the bottom of the R. And Peoria there in the end zone just got a hand on it, kind of pushed it away, and all things considered, again, a nice stop right there despite the circumstance.
That was a nice one there from Wen. Again, it's, you know, been a tough day for him, certainly, and, you know, most goalkeepers probably don't envy going up against Peoria Notre Dame, especially when they're firing on all cylinders like they are tonight. The Irish, they took down their rival from just down the road in Richwoods to win the Richwoods Regional, so they've been able to stay close to home for the duration of their postseason. And it looks like if they win tonight, they'd certainly still be around for their next game before, again, had to double check, but I believe their super sectional, if they were to advance that far, will be at Lewis University in suburban Chicago, so a little bit longer of a trip. And this should be a corner coming up for the Irish. That one went off of the head of a Pirate.
And John, I got to think, going back to just how beautiful this evening is, just great weather. It's hard to believe we're in October as Hudson knifes through again.
And chances cleared out.
But, you know, can't help but think that this rather warm October weather has got to do something with, you know, PND tonight. They're probably feeling a little more fresh, and, you know, it's a good confidence booster as he goes again.
Goes top shelf for goal number 4 with just over 2 minutes to play. That one, you call that one in hockey, you call that one a bar down ski. Hits the top of the bar, goes straight in, so hard to defend. And Hudson he's so hard to defend. 4 goals tonight. PND has hung 7 on Ottawa here, and we're just still in the first half.
Every time I talk, John, it seems like Hudson's in position for a shot, and he gets number 4 right there. 38 goals now on the season, so might have to make a little.
He might reach 40 by the time the night's over.
You know, I was thinking it earlier, didn't want to suggest it, but now 2 goals doesn't seem like all that much for him to reach 40.
No, here's Salazar. PND just, ball's been living on that side of the field for them tonight. Whistle blows there. A foul may be called. Looks like they're on LaHood. So Ottawa will get the ball back. And, you know, I think at this point, certainly, Gavin, you know, PND can, you know, obviously your lead looks pretty safe at the moment. You know, you're going to be playing a good team in Dunlap later this weekend. You know, maybe we'll see some, you know, maybe some of the backup guys, maybe some of the reserves come in and, you know, get some action, keep the starters fresh. But you never know. Maybe they'll try and just play this game with their whole unit. I don't believe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe I've seen any subs come in for PND so far tonight. It's been the same 11 all night long.
Yeah, it's one of those things, John. You get to the late stages of the season, and you get to the playoffs. you definitely don't want to, start taking guys out too early because, then the legs can cramp up a little bit. You want to go through an entire game, keep them with that experience of, playing through the entirety of the game. So I don't expect too many substitutions, but at the same time, Mike Barrett also like to keep his reserves fresh as well and get them a little action. I'd expect maybe for him to kind of just work them in here and there going into the second half.
Hudson again, just an absolute wizard with the ball. He is, as now has popped up, looking for Hogan, but not there, at least on the first attempt. Ottawa's going to come away with this one and advance things up as we have the final 10 seconds of the first half. PND will see what they can do. Here's Schuler with it, making it a late strike, and thankfully Went got a hand on it. That would have been a beautiful goal from Schuler if he could have got it. Great stop there from Brady Went and net from Ottawa. And that's where we end the first half, Gavin. PND 7, Ottawa 0.
Not much else more you can say. Looking like a football score right there, but a lot more impressive than a 7-0 football score as the Irish putting up 7 goals to Ottawa's none. Truly a dominant performance where we were looking to the right a whole lot in that first half. The time of possession was almost entirely in favor of the Irish and just did a lot of things right. Ottawa, tried to put up some resistance, but only so much you can do on a sustained Irish attack and pair of hat tricks. And how about Hudson coming up with 4 goals? Continuing to defy the odds, and 7 for the Irish going into halftime. Really putting a no-doubter on this one.
Irish lead looks pretty safe at the moment. If you want to keep your auto, home, and life safe, you want to give a call to our sponsor for tonight's broadcast, Jake Weston State Farm in Washington, for all of your insurance needs. Like I said, auto, home, or life, you name it, and more. Give Jake a call at 309-444-4441 or online at jakewestoninsurance.com. I want to give him a big shout out and a thanks for his support of tonight's broadcast, and also to our wonderful crew, again, alongside Gavin Russell and Owen Dimful on camera, Michael Savoy taking some pictures, doing some social media updates. I would imagine he was probably spending a lot of time back on YouTube, clipping up plays, posting them on Twitter. Lots of highlights for PND in that first half. That's where we'll leave things here at halftime. We'll step aside here on Clutch Sports Media, come back in a couple minutes for half number 2. PND leading big in the Class 2A sectional semifinal. And welcome back to Peoria Stadium. PND leading big after the first half of action. Jonathan Michael and Gavin Russell here in the booth with you for the second leg of the Class 2A sectional semifinal hosted by Rich Woods, but being played at Peoria Stadium, the newly renovated Peoria Stadium, as second half, because of the deficit, is being shortened to 20 minutes. So that will make things extremely hard for Ottawa, but it's been PND all night long, Gavin.
It really has, and if you didn't really get to tune in for much of that first half, there's a couple of guys that really carried the load, a couple of hat tricks coming for the Irish, and Hudson with 4 goals. 4 goals, you know, you don't see hat tricks very often, let alone more than 3 in one match, and all in the first half. So dominant showing from the Irish is on a warm evening. They've been red hot coming right out of the gate, and they look to set themselves up for a matchup with Dunlap on Saturday for a little Big 12 Mid-Illini crossover for the sectional championship.
Here is Ottawa actually with a chance. Evan Snook, 23 and white with it. Now over to Colin Lyons, back to Snook. Really, so far, the closest that Ottawa's gotten all night long. And we talked about Jorge Lopez came in this one with 20 goals scored for Ottawa. Their leading goal scorer, number 7. That one punched away by the Irish. But Caden Hudson's came in with 34, at least according to Max Preps, which, you know, has covered high school sports, Gavin. You know that those can be accurate, those cannot be accurate. Here's a chance for the Irish. That one went wide.
And it looks like, you know, Mike Bear elects to kind of sit his main guys here in half number 2 and, you know, allow most or all the reserves to get a little action in there. A few players, a few starters remain out there, but otherwise it's getting a lot of the kind of the secondary guys, all the up-and-comers, maybe a few guys up from JV. Never a bad opportunity to get some experience in, you know, a sectional matchup.
No, certainly not. That last shot from the Irish came from Sean Graham, a freshman on PND. And here he is here battling. And it's a bit too physical there, as this will be Ottawa ball. But Gavin, real quick, looking at PND, their season they've had so far, they started the year with 7 straight wins, and in that stretch of 7 games, only allowed 1 goal. That was against Centennial. PND beat Washington 5-0 earlier in the year. Dunlap beat Washington 3-2 here tonight. So, and 5-0 win, nothing to sneeze at in the game of soccer, and that shows you what PND can do. You know, Dunlap has really got to bring their A game this weekend.
They really are, and I think that they, you know, for all intents and purposes, they got probably the best test leading up to a game against PND, you know, a game where it took late game heroics. You know, they gave up a lead, but they showed the resiliency throughout the game, and, you know, they showed why they were the better team in that matchup. You know, very closely contested. Washington's very competitive, but probably the best thing you could have happen going into a matchup with PND on Saturday, and probably, you know, are definitely not going to be the favorites in that one. But I wouldn't count the Eagles out quite yet, and I think that, you know, being back here, and, you know, we'll see what the weather turns out to be, but I think it'll give them a run for their money and kind of a last-ditch effort. We'll see what they can do.
Certainly, and PND and Dunlap, for the record, did not play in the regular season. Going back to the start of PND season, all the way back in late August, it feels like so close but so long ago. They beat Quincy Notre Dame, a very good team, 5-0. Then they headed to the Noblesville Midwest Invitational, as a cross here from Sean Graham is just off. Nearly put in, didn't catch the number there, but nearly another goal for the Irish. They played some schools from up in Michigan, Catholic Central out of Novi. They beat them 2-0, and then they beat Okemos 3-0. and they played games against Glenwood and Washington. So those were 5 really good teams right off the bat that PND faced. They beat them 5-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. So they just started out great.
Threw a lot of numbers at me there, John, but my takeaway is wins, and they've done a lot of that this season. That's for years. It's been the common theme for Notre Dame is just a winning program, and going back to the point you made in the first half about even in a couple times that they've drawed and playing Normal West and drawing that one, they're looking for little things to clean up that could have gotten them a win. And again, that's just the mark of a really, really good team is when you're never satisfied. You never just want to, all right, we got a couple goals, we're just going to kind of coast. Keep the pedal to the metal, and I think that's a large reason why they become such the dominant force in the Peoria area, really the entire state.
This team just never really stops. It's like having a brick on the gas pedal at all times. This is the way it's been tonight. 4 goals from Caden Hudson, 3 from Thatcher Hogan. Ottawa just, at this point, trying to find some positives out of this one, end the season on a high note, maybe have someone or maybe multiple players score. There's Snook in the near corner, had it taken away.
And again, Ottawa, a very young team. A lot of their top guys going to be back next season, leading goal scored, a junior, and being able to know that those guys will be coming back. It doesn't make ending your season any easier, but maybe a little motivation, lights a fire under you a bit, and, going into next season, surely they'll be better off of this experience. A big learning opportunity for the Pirates, and I think that's just kind of what you take it as, and look for the little things. Keep the positivity up. I can't help but be a little forlorn on the sideline, but coaches staying positive and just trying to keep a little energy where they can.
What you got to do is, here comes another PND chance, 1-on-1, and another goal for the Irish. That's Joseph Menke, the senior, number 14. Add another one to the PND tally, and Menke joins the scoring party.
Well, the last couple of goal scorers we've seen for PND went on to get some outright hat tricks. We'll see if he can do the same. Not as much time to work with, but an 8 on the scoreboard now as the Irish move closer to double digits.
It's pretty warm out here, Gavin. Obviously, it's still a while until any snow's going to come down, but...
Well, you say that.
If you play the game of golf, at 8 is sometimes referred to as a snowman because it's just the way the number is, you get it. It's the way the 8 is. You got a circle on top of another. And
do you write a lot of 8s on the scorecard, John?
I typically, I'm proud to say I do not. Occasionally I'm good for a snowman or 2. Maybe per year. Although I'm proud to say I've worked on my game a lot last couple years and a lot less 8s on the card. Too many 5s and 6s though. I gotta cut down on those. If I can put up more 4s, I'd be a lot better golfer than I am. But
I used to be satisfied with bogey golf, and now I'm not satisfied with bogey golf.
Same here. A couple years ago, my golf game, I'd go out and I shoot about, high 80s and, low 90s, and around a 90 was about average for me. I'd be all right, bogey golf. And after a while, you kind of, more older you get and the more mature your decision making is and your responses are on the course, you can play a little bit better golf the more you just, it's a lifelong sport, one that takes a long time to perfect. But
golf can be frustrating, that's for sure.
It certainly can, but I'm proud to say I'm down in the low 80s now. However, I'm still gunning to break 80, at least on a regulation par 72 course. I've shot multiple 80s, 81s, lots of 82s. Still have not gotten that 79 yet, although I've came really close at Weaver Ridge, so maybe I should make a stop out there before it gets too cold out.
I played Weaver Ridge last year into December. So, hey, the weather's nice. They're going to stay open.
Man.
the recently renovated Weaver Ridge, actually. Very nice course.
Certainly is. Substitution comes on here for Ottawa. That's number 21, Alexio Fernandez coming on, and Jorge Lopez, their main goal-scoring threat coming out. But yeah, and I'll tell you what is, I also wouldn't want to golf against any of the golfers on PND's golf teams, boys or girls, because they'd probably beat me.
Oh, very true. I wouldn't be able to handle that amount of pressure. You know, I can barely have the cart girl watching as
oh boy,
I hit from the tee box, let alone a gallery.
Note to all the cart girls out there, if you ever catch me playing a match with Gavin Russell, pull up to the tee and have him shaking in his boots. I could use all the help I could get.
It's just the factor, you know, you want to hit a perfect shot. Somebody else is watching you. They're judging exactly what the kind of golfer you are on that one shot, because they may not see the rest of the day.
Exactly. A lot of judging books by covers on the golf course,
but sir, you mentioned it. You know, a lot of great IHSA golfers, and I know they've.
I think Ottawa also may have had a couple decent golfers that I have to double check and look, but may have made it to state.
I believe you're correct, and a lot of
memory, sir. I'll go back and check. I can fire up the I Wanamaker app that I still have on my phone.
A lot of really good golfers this season. You know, some great individuals as well as teams. You mentioned the Notre Dame boys and girls teams having some good success and doing some big things this season. I believe the finals are held down in Bloomington Normal.
Yes, for boys golf, they're played down in Bloomington Normal, and then girls are down near the Decatur area, and PND, they played at Red Tail Run, which is in Forsyth, just outside of Decatur. Time winding down here at Peoria Stadium, just a 20-minute-long second half after PND put up 7 goals in the first half. It started with Caden Hudson. He scored the first 3. Then Thatcher Hogan scored 3 more. It's worth noting, Gavin, that one of PND's best players, Maximilian Mattarelli, is out tonight. So the fact that he is injured and not even playing, obviously not a factor tonight, it shows you how good this PND team can be if you had him on the field as well, because Mattarelli scored quite a number of goals too this year. So, again, not sure what his injury status is, but again, certainly hope he's all right.
Indeed, and you want to be 100% going forward in the playoffs. You know, even if you feel comfortable, hey, we got a lot of guys that can do good things and step up, you always want to have every option available in your arsenal, and you never want a guy to go down with an injury. You never like to see that. So hopefully Mattarelli can get back and 100%, if not the next game, hopefully before the Irish season would come to an end, if they can move on past Saturday. We'll have Dunlap, and both teams are going to have their hands full. But right back here, and again, probably the biggest thing I'm interested to see with that day is just how the weather turns out. I know we're in store for some rainy weather in central Illinois.
It's true.
It's expected to get colder
as well. We're playing
on
turf, though. That
we are playing on turf, indeed. And again, that's a big difference maker. However, just again, the change in conditions tonight versus Saturday, might throw the teams off a little bit. Things can go a little bit differently. And if the weather does become chillier, it could be a little more difficult to get up to 100%. So we'll see how the weather conditions and old Mother Nature fares on Saturday for Dunlap and looks to be Notre Dame.
And certainly it's something to keep an eye on. Weather forecast for Friday, Saturday, a little bit still up in the air right now. As you can say, it's always in the air. You never know what it's going to be like. Is nice cross there. It's taken away by the Pirates. Real quick, just recapping, talking about golf. Ottawa did have a golfer, not their team, but it has a shot from Sean Graham. Goes a little high and left. Ottawa had a golfer that made it to the state final. Is Drake Kaufman, a senior, finishing a pretty respectable tie for 30th. Shot 76 on the final day, so he would certainly beat me.
I would die for 76. Great score.
If I was playing maybe a 15-hole course, 16 holes, I could shoot a 76, but well, Gavin, I think our takeaway from tonight is, one, PND is a very good team as they crossed in there, and Graham not quite there. Could have been 9 for the Irish. But I think our takeaway is, one, PND is the real deal. And number 2 is that we've been talking about golf so much. I think we both need to get out on the course sometime soon.
That is very true. Very true. It's been a very hectic fall, as I'm sure you very much can relate. Football season and as well as soccer season has kept us very, very busy. But I'd love to get out there at some point. I didn't play nearly as much this year as I would have liked to, and probably why my score continues to suffer.
Michael Savoy over on my left, running social media and taking some pictures. I had a great idea a week ago or so. He said we should do a Clutch Sports Media Ryder Cup with all of our members. So that'd be fun. I'm sure we could maybe get some good social media content. Seeing myself, Gavin, Michael. I don't know, is our cameraman Owen Dimple, would he like to join, or are you just mini golf? He said he would caddy.
He can caddy for me.
Nice shot there from the Irish. That was Julian Corona sending that strike in. Saved there by Nathan Wendt.
I'm going to follow up on this idea. What if we make this like a pro-am? Maybe some local celebrities of sorts.
Man.
Could we get some big-name Peoria area stars to make a showing on the course?
I have had an idea of a Clutch Sports Media golf outing. I'm sure some people around the area would be interested. And again, still very, 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 very early in the planning stage for that. It hasn't really even, it's more just a thought at this point, but something I'd love to do.
Hey, if you tell somebody we got a golf outing planned, a lot of people are probably going to show up. So if it happens, I'll be there.
Maybe not so much with the Ottawa contingent watching this. If you're still watching it, it'd be a bit of a drive down, but love to have you. PND, I'm sure, could probably have some people come out. Love to have them as well.
Never too far of a drive for a golf outing. I played in a golf outing earlier this year up closer to Ottawa, actually, in the Sterling area.
Oh, how about that? I actually, believe it or not, Gavin, I've never actually played in an outing.
Really?
Have not, nope.
It'd be a first time for you, huh?
It would. Not sure what sort of pressure that would bring. I mean, usually when I play in a competitive environment, I tend to wilt, so maybe you don't want to get paired up with me, but
we'll see what we could do is we can make it a scramble, two-man scramble.
True.
That's the outing I played in, so we had a much more respectable score. It wasn't all on me. Me and my partner were able to tag team it a little bit.
Nice save there by Wet, but a score for the Irish. That will make it 9. That was Tristan Flaherty for PND. And that is 9. That incurs the mercy rule. Right before this one was scheduled to end anyway. But the Irish take down the Pirates 9-0. Tristan Flaherty puts a bow on this one.
Well, I mentioned we were talking about golf and talking about tag team, and I didn't catch the other number, but a couple of Irish tag teaming right there on that last goal. Put the initial shot on net. Rebound by Flaherty is good for 9 and finishes this one off a couple minutes early as the Irish coming out dominant fashion. There's not a lot of adjectives more you could use to describe this ball game as PND moves on and puts a little fear into their competition. Dunlap come Saturday, but that should be an excellent match.
A statement win for the Irish tonight. They just dominated from start to finish. It was never really a doubt in this one. They show why they're one of the premier teams, not just in Peoria, not just in Central Illinois, but in the entire state. The Irish looking to make another deep postseason run and win back-to-back state titles. It's what they're pursuing. That would be 6 in program history if they could do it. And again, their next obstacle will be the Dunlap Eagles, who should give them a great test on Saturday. believe that game will be right back here at Peoria Stadium. Obviously, if the sectional semifinals are here, you would assume the finals will be here as well. That game will be on Saturday morning, I believe. Again, I have to double check. Don't have it right in front of me, but that'll be a good one. Won't want to miss it. Gavin, any final thoughts from this great night of soccer? It's been great, honestly, we don't do soccer quite as much, and I think my takeaway from tonight, again, from the two ones we had earlier, my third takeaway is that we should also do soccer more often.
Indeed. I really enjoyed coming out this evening. Could not have asked for better weather, so if you didn't get a chance to come out, you missed out tonight. It was excellent weather here at Peoria Stadium. The new turf played really well under the lights, and yeah, we do a lot of football, but hey, soccer is an excellent sport, keeps us on our toes. We saw a really good one in the first game, saw a lot of offense here in this second game, so great matches this evening. Got to get out and do more, and really excited to see how Notre Dame progresses throughout the rest of this postseason. It was a fun night talking with you, John.
Certainly, and it's the end of the road for Ottawa. They end their season at 13-10-2. Got to credit to them. They knew it was going to be an uphill battle tonight. But it's still lots to like from the Pirates overall from this season. You won the regional. You took down Galesburg, a good team, and everything. So there's a lot to build on. And it's a team that again will get better next year. So that will about wrap things up. Again, as much as we love soccer, again, this week is also the first round of the high school football playoffs. We have our games locked in. We'll be announcing them very shortly on Clutch Sports Media on our social media channels. So give us a follow on Clutch Sports Media on Instagram and Facebook, at Clutch Sports IL on Twitter. We have lots of stuff coming out. It's playoff football, playoff cross country, volleyball as well, soccer, you name it. It's one of the best times of the year. The games just mean that much more. So that about wraps things up from Peoria Stadium. For all of our great hard-working crew at Clutch Sports Media, our cameraman Owen Dimful doing some great camera shots tonight, and as well Michael Savoy roaming the sidelines, taking some pictures, updating the social media. And for my broadcast partner Gavin Russell, I'm Jonathan Michael saying so long from Peoria. PND wins 9-0. Dunlap wins 3-2. It's Irish and Eagles for a sectional title here on Saturday morning. So long, folks. Have a great evening. Enjoy the rest of your night. Have a safe weekend as well. We'll talk to you next time.